Chapter 23. The error would never have thought that things would turn out like this. Why did this happen? It and 001 could not figure it out. Shouldn't Li Mo be with her as soon as Sun Jiaoyang returned? After all, that was how the plot was. They did not understand human feelings at all. They thought that all their behavior patterns would not change. Even if something happened midway, it did not matter. 001 and error thought, wasn't their mission to restore and maintain the original plot? Because the female antagonist, Lin, wanting to take over. However, now, it seemed that the plot had deviated more and more because of them. This was a huge blow to both 001 and error, and they could not accept it. After all, the two of them had been first in the mission on planet Araga. What should we do now? 001 asked error. Error also had a headache. He could only reply, otherwise, if Li Mo doesn't break up, you can break up with him. Just break up with him. It's all the same anyway. 001 nodded in agreement, and she also thought that error's words made sense. As expected of the error who had always helped her solve her problems. Before Li Mo knew it, his fiancée had already planned to break up with him. And at this moment, Sun Jiaoyang looked at the couple in front of him. She could only leave unwillingly. At the very least, she could not let Li Mo have a worse impression of her. She had to maintain a good image in front of him. Sun Jiaoyang did not give up. She just wanted to go back and think of a better way to take back Li Mo. If 001 knew, she would definitely welcome it with open arms with error. She might even come up with a plan. Li Mo did not take Sun Jiaoyang to heart after she left. He lowered his head to look at his fiancée beside him. All right, she's gone. She's gone. Don't be sad. I won't contact her in private anymore. I'll let you know if anything happens, okay? Li Mo lowered his head and kissed 001's lips, and consciously promised her. If it were any other girl, he would be such a good boyfriend. There was no need for girls to emphasize anything to him. However, for 001 and 22, this made them even more depressed, and they began to feel a heavy burden on their shoulders. 001 and error almost hugged each other and shivered. They felt that the hope of completing their mission was getting slimmer and slimmer. However, in the end, 001 and error would not give up, so she was ready to break up with Li Mo. However, error stopped her. Hey, wait, have you forgotten the weakness of males on Earth? How could he be so inconsiderate? What if Li Mo takes things too hard and commits suicide? Error's words knocked on 001's head and woke her up. She readily admitted her mistake. You're right. It's all my fault. I didn't think it through. Then I'll go back and send him a message. That should make him feel better. 001 thought that if she didn't say it to Li Mo's face and left him some face, there shouldn't be anything wrong. Obviously, error agreed. 001's obedient appearance and pure face made Li Mo's heart itch. He endured it, but he still couldn't. She was already his legitimate fiancée. Why did he have to endure it? Therefore, Li Mo hugged 001 tightly into his arms and began to kiss her eagerly. He seemed to be extremely hungry and thirsty. He sucked 001's lips heavily and let out a loud kiss. 001's tongue trembled and he couldn't wait to swallow the saliva in her mouth. 001 thought that if she broke up with him in the future, she wouldn't be able to have such intimate behavior. To be honest, 001 liked it very much, so she wanted to enjoy it for the last time. 001 reached out and hugged Li Mo tightly. She also took the initiative to put her tongue into his mouth and kissed him back. 001's enthusiastic response made Li Mo ecstatic. He was so excited that he couldn't control himself. He couldn't wait to crush 001 and put her into his body so that they could be closely intertwined. Therefore, Li Mo picked 001 up, rubbed her unconsciously, and pushed her aside. They kissed 001 for a long time until their mouths began to be red and swollen and painful, but Li Mo was still reluctant to let her go. Li Mo's eyes were misty, and he was suppressing his lust. He looked extremely alluring. He released 001's delicate and beautiful mouth while panting. There were still silver threads sticking on their lips. It was very obscene. Liamo was still holding 001 tightly and was reluctant to leave her. He kept lowering his head and kissing her lips. He took his hands out of 001's clothes and tidied them up for her, but he buried his face in her neck while panting heavily. Wan, I really want to F***CKU, Liamo said as he rubbed 001's head. However, Liamo realized that there were too many things that had happened today, especially when his ex-girlfriend was involved. If he still wanted to sleep with Lin Wanting at this time, it would be too inconsiderate of her. Therefore, Liamo sent 001 back, gently rubbed her head and said, "Don't think too much. You can tell me anything." Liamo's words made 001's eyes light up. Does that mean that I can break up with him? Error also thought that it was feasible. After all, the holiday didn't last long. Liamo and 001 soon returned to the university, but Sun Jiaoyang also went through the admission procedures in this university. It was not difficult for her. It seemed that she had made up her mind to fight for a long time. The relationship between Lin Wanting and Liamo had no binding force on Sun Jiaoyang. Liamo was originally her. It was Lin Wanting who succeeded after she went abroad. She just took back her original boyfriend. How could she be regarded as a mistress? Not long after returning to the university, 001 felt that the time was right when she was in the dormitory, so she sent a text message to Liamo, "Let's break up." 001 didn't say anything superfluous. Of course, she wouldn't say it. It was just a few simple words, clear and clear. However, Liamo, who received the text message, opened his eyes wide in disbelief. He knew every word, but why didn't he know what they meant when they were put together? Because he and Lin Wanting were fine. Why did she suddenly send such a text message to him? It was simply inexplicable. Was she joking with him? However, he would never accept such a joke. Liamo was burning with anxiety. His mind was in a mess, and he guessed randomly. However, he immediately went to find 001. He wanted to let her know what kind of things couldn't be joked about. Therefore, it didn't take long for 001 to receive a call from Liamo. Just like the previous time, he directly ordered her, "Come down." The aura in Liamo's words was very terrible, as if they had been transmitted through the phone. However, 001, who had just sent a message to Liamo to break up, was not conscious at all. She didn't feel afraid at all. I just remembered that Sun Jiaoyang also sent a message to break up with Liamo, and then she went abroad inexplicably. Is it good for us to do this? After Error's reminder, 001 realized that she had made another mistake. No wonder Liamo was so angry. 001 was very frustrated. She was really a clumsy novice in love. She always made mistakes. She was not like a respectable general on planet Araga at all. Liamo seemed to have fallen into a strange curse. His girlfriend would always send him a message to break up with him for no reason. It seemed that he was indeed very sad. With this mentality, 001 felt that she had to admit her mistake humbly, so she should let Liamo vent his anger in front of him. Liamo was really about to explode. How could she do this? Therefore, as soon as he saw 001's figure, he didn't give her a chance to speak at all. He directly pulled her to a hidden corner under the shade of a tree. Liamo pressed 001 against the wall fiercely. Under the cover of the tree, no one could see what he was doing, so he began to punish 001. 001's underwear was pushed up. Liamo buried his head down and gnawed hard. His other hand reached into her underwear and stirred vigorously. Tell me, will you still do this in the future? Liamo's eyes were scarlet, and his voice was hoarse. He looked at 001 dangerously and asked. Liamo deliberately tortured her like this to question 001. After all, he was very familiar with her reaction and was very sensitive. Liamo's sense of oppression was very strong, but 001 didn't feel anything. She just felt that it was a pity that Li Mo didn't finish it every time. Li Mo had become familiar with this body from being unfamiliar with it these days. He coaxed her to kiss and touch every part of her body. 001 was tormented by lust and lust. She couldn't help but twist her body, which made Li Mo suck in a breath of cold air. A drop of sweat dripped from his forehead, and his eyes were more forbearing. He looked at 001 and gnashed his teeth. Well, I want more. What 001 said was true. Of course, she would break up with Li Mo in the future. She was so honest. However, in this special situation, it was difficult for the sentence 001 not to be interpreted by Li Mo with other ambiguous meanings. He couldn't help but lower his head and bite 001, leaving a red mark on her body. His own mark was on 001's body, which made Li Mo in a good mood, and his physical and psychological impulses also eased a little. Li Mo forcefully fiddled with it a few times before hurriedly ending it and tidying up 001. He lovingly stroked her flushed face with a doting expression, as if he didn't know what to do with her. Li Mo sighed and said, I have nothing to do with Sun Jiaoyang. You don't have to care about her. I just want to be with you. Li Mo's words were so clear to 001. He thought about it. Lin Wanting sent such a text message after Sun Jiaoyang came back, so it should be because of her. Even if Li Mo didn't like to say such sweet words and repeatedly express his feelings, he could only emphasize it to her over and over again for the sake of 001's heart. It was undoubtedly annoying that his girlfriend didn't trust him, doubted him, and asked him to explain to her over and over again. However, Li Mo didn't feel this way in his heart. He was only full of love and helplessness. This was really a sweet annoyance for him. Alas, how could he make his Wanwan believe that there was really no other woman in his heart except for her? However, Li Mo only emphasized over and over again solemnly. For 001, it was undoubtedly a devastating blow. She almost couldn't control the expression on her face and lost her composure in front of Li Mo. Chapter 24. 001 and Error were getting more and more desperate, but 001 still had to force a smile at Li Mo. Li Mo's determination not to break up was the same as 001's determination to break up. 001 and Error both felt that they had overreached themselves. No, they had to break up successfully. On the other hand, Sun Jiaoyang became their junior sister and began to openly pursue Li Mo. Because in this university, ever since the beginning of the semester, everyone knew that Lin Wanting had a crush on Li Mo. Later on, they finally got together, and the others were also happy to see it happen. Not to mention that in their opinion, Li Mo and 001 were constantly showing off their affection. They were really a loving couple. But at this time, Sun Jiaoyang suddenly appeared, so the others despised her as a shameless mistress. She clearly knew how good Li Mo and Lin Wanting were, but she still wanted to steal him. However, Sun Jiaoyang was very confident. She didn't feel guilty at all. She announced loudly to the others, I'm Li Mo's girlfriend. I just went abroad because I lost my temper with him, but I didn't expect that when I came back, Lin Wanting would actually become her girlfriend. Sun Jiaoyang didn't deliberately pretend to be a white lotus or deliberately mislead others, but in her heart, she really thought so. In this university, there were also many people who were classmates with Sun Jiaoyang. They knew about the matter between Li Mo and her. But later, Sun Jiaoyang went abroad. They all thought that Li Mo had broken up with her. However, in fact, no one knew whether Sun Jiaoyang and Li Mo had broken up or not. Li Mo didn't get close to anyone, and he wouldn't make this kind of thing known to everyone. Moreover, at that time, in Li Mo's opinion, the breakup text message was simply inexplicable. He didn't admit it. He wanted to ask Sun Jiaoyang, but he couldn't get through to her. Later, Li Mo gave up. At this time, when they heard Sun Jiaoyang's affirmative words, they began to waver. After all, they didn't know the truth. Although in their opinion, whether it was Li Mo or Lin Wanting, they didn't seem to be that kind of person. After getting the confirmation of Sun Jiaoyang and Li Mo's high school classmates, the news that Li Mo had indeed dated Sun Jiaoyang before made the direction of the university slowly change. Some people stood on Li Mo and Lin Wanting's side, thinking that their ex-girlfriend was unwilling to be jealous of them and was deliberately causing trouble. However, some people tended to think that Sun Jiaoyang was the victim. She was far away abroad, and her boyfriend was taken advantage of by a mistress. The outsiders quarreled fiercely, but the three people involved did not do so. Li Mo didn't pay attention to these things. After all, no one made trouble in front of him. However, he paid attention to Lin Wanting all the time, so he knew everything related to her. Naturally, Li Mo wouldn't let others slander Lin Wanting's reputation. He planned to find Sun Jiaoyang to solve this matter thoroughly. Sun Jiaoyang was enthusiastic, lively, and persistent, but she also had the temper of a spoiled girl and the princess syndrome. It was just that at the beginning, it was not obvious under the cover of her advantages. Even compared with her advantages, this little temper made her more real and cute, which made people tolerate her. But obviously, Li Mo was not her boyfriend now, and he didn't intend to tolerate her. However, Li Mo didn't expect that before he went to find Sun Jiaoyang, he would get the breakup declaration from 001 again. Why? Looking at Lin Wanting standing in front of him and saying this sentence seriously, Li Mo said with difficulty. The uneasy feeling in his heart came true. Last time, Lin Wanting was not joking, nor was it impulsive. He just deliberately ignored it. Because he didn't want to believe it, and he didn't want to believe it. In front of her, he lost his sharpness. But at this time, Lin Wanting's seriousness made Li Mo unable to ignore it anymore. Obviously, she and I are very close. Why does Lin Wanting have this kind of idea again and again? What Li Mo said made 001 confused again. Wasn't there only two answers to this kind of thing, yes or no? Don't be stunned. Li Mo is waiting for your answer. Just make up a random reason for him to give up, 001 replied cleverly, because I think you and Sun Jiaoyang are the most suitable. I don't want to be the third party, 001 thought her words were perfect, but it made Li Mo's eyes soften. He took a step forward, gently took 001 into his arms, and lowered his head to kiss her hair. Silly girl, the thing between me and her has never had anything to do with you. Before Sun Jiaoyang went abroad, he had already sent me a text message to break up. You are not the third party. Lin Wanting was a person with a strong sense of morality. Li Mo thought that she really believed Sun Jiaoyang's words and felt guilty for it, which naturally made him feel sorry for her. 001. This is different from what we said. 001 could no longer hide her stiff body. Both she and Error could only keep a straight face. Sure enough, they didn't have enough experience and didn't understand the brain circuits of men on the earth, which was why they failed again and again. In order to learn from this lesson, 001 and Error went back and found a book on breaking up. Although 001 didn't know that the excuses in this book were commonly used by scumbags. I'm sorry, Li Mo. You are very good, but we are not suitable for each other. You deserve better, 001 said sincerely to Li Mo. Li Mo thought that 001 was affected by the campus rumors and wanted to break up again. Although Li Mo was angry that 001 had no confidence in their relationship and was easily shaken, he didn't want to let go. Therefore, he said to 001, no matter how good others are, it has nothing to do with me. I only want you. These were very touching words that made people blush, but 001 was dead. 001 continued, Li Mo, I'm tired. I don't have any feelings for you anymore. Let's part ways and live happily ever after. Li Mo didn't know why Lin Wanting suddenly wanted to break up with him, but he would never let go. Therefore, he approached 001, held her wrist hard, and said gloomily, you used to have feelings for me, but now you are just tired. I will make you fall in love with me again. Probably because of her guilty conscience, 001 was really shocked, although she didn't know why she felt this way. But 001 understood that she and Error were killed again. Then 001 still didn't give up. She told all kinds of excuses to Li Mo. Li Mo also understood at this time that he couldn't deceive himself anymore. The feeling that he felt when he was with Lin Wanting was real. However, Li Mo would not give up. After 001 finished speaking, he was very quiet this time. After all, he had been broken up by his beloved girlfriend so many times, and he had a certain psychological endurance. 001 looked at Li Mo's reaction expectantly, waiting for him to nod. However, for the first time, Li Mo showed his vulnerability in front of 001. He looked at 001 with a sad look in his eyes. He held her hand and said softly, "Wan Wan, can you not do this? I will be sad too. I can't stand it." Facing Li Mo in such a state, his drooping brows were filled with a heartbreaking desolation. His sparkling eyes had also dimmed, and it was as if his entire being had lost some sort of vitality. This made 001's throat feel as if it was blocked, and he could no longer speak. However, Li Mo took 001's silence as consent. He gently reached out and hugged her. Li Mo closed his eyes and carefully held the treasure in his arms. His face was full of satisfaction and relief. 001 was stunned in Li Mo's arms. Although she was in a trance, she did not give up her task. Li Mo, who should have found Sun Jiaoyang and solved the problem, put it aside because of 001's seemingly unreasonable breakup. After he thought that he and Lin Wanting had calmed down, Li Mo went to see Sun Jiaoyang. Naturally, Sun Jiaoyang was very surprised that Li Mo came to see her. "Li Mo, you are here." "Yes, you are always punctual. I've ordered your favorite coffee, no sugar. Try it." In order to pursue Li Mo, Sun Jiaoyang had spent a lot of effort. How could she not know some of his preferences and habits? When she was with him, she also had a lot of good memories. Sun Jiaoyang wanted Li Mo to remember them. However, Li Mo did not reminisce and be reluctant to part with them as she had imagined. If he had someone else in his heart and was still reluctant to part with them, no matter who it was a kind of disrespect. Thus, Li Mo could only sigh in disappointment and frustration as he said to Sun Jiaoyang, "Jiaoyang, I've never regretted my choice, nor will I deny our past. But you should know that it was you who broke up with me. It had nothing to do with Lin Wanting." Sun Jiaoyang was also a smart girl. She understood the meaning of Li Mo's words as soon as she heard it. So, he had come to find her because of the unfavorable rumors about Lin Wanting on campus? Haha. This made Sun Jiaoyang sneer. Li Mo really put in a lot of effort for her. Don't you know that girls have small tempers? You agreed just because I said it, and you even found your next boyfriend so quickly? No matter how she thought about it, this made Sun Jiaoyang very angry. She felt that he had let her down and betrayed her feelings. Li Mo sighed again. He really did not want to talk about this with Sun Jiaoyang. Moreover, why did she not understand? Thus, Li Mo's expression became cold once again. He didn't want to waste any more words with Sun Jiaoyang. "Miss Sun, I only hope that you will not disturb our lives in the future." Li Mo's words were very heartless. To Sun Jiaoyang, it made her heart ache. Chapter 25. Therefore. Sun Jiaoyang was still noble, bright, and inviolable. She wanted to maintain her pride and dignity as a young miss. She sneered at Li Mo and said, "Sure, I have a welcome party this Saturday. As long as you bring Lin Wanting to attend, I'll let you guys go." Sun Jiaoyang clearly said this to Li Mo. She didn't need to worry about anything now. Even though Li Mo knew that this must be a trap, he still agreed. There had to be a solution to the matter. After Li Mo went back, he told Lin Wanting about the matter. If she didn't agree, it was fine if they didn't go. 001's eyes lit up. She looked at Li Mo and said, "Okay, let's go." 001 felt that this might be a good opportunity to break up with Li Mo. After all, Sun Jiaoyang had never given up on him. Li Mo looked at 001, his brows furrowed slightly, but he didn't say anything, he just hugged her silently. That day, Li Mo brought 001 to attend on time. 001 didn't have any preparations to meet her love rival, so she was still dressed as usual. Lin Wanting's dressing was elegant and graceful, like a young lady who had walked out of a painting of a lady. This kind of temperament was special, it made her very eye-catching, but going to a place like KTV was out of place. When Li Mo brought 001 over, the boys all felt that Lin Wanting had an indescribable sense of beauty, which made their gazes involuntarily linger. However, in this kind of place, no one went to play with Lin Wanting. It was obvious that she was not from the same country as them. With such a girl here, how could they enjoy themselves to the fullest? The eyes of the others clearly revealed this meaning, unless there was a boy with ill intentions who wanted to hit on Lin Wanting. Li Mo's face became unhappy. He turned sideways and gently blocked 001. Others, especially the way the boys looked at her, were really annoying. Li Mo knew that Sun Jiaoyang had an ulterior motive. By bringing Lin Wanting here, he had attracted the attention of those rich playboys. Even without Sun Jiaoyang messing things up, their lives would still not be peaceful. Sun Jiaoyang couldn't help but curl his lips when he saw this. Looking at Li Mo's furious eyes, she smiled even more happily. She didn't think that she had done anything wrong. She even thought that she was testing the true feelings between Li Mo and Lin Wanting. She felt that Li Mo should thank her properly. After all, she was helping them to test whether their feelings could withstand these sugar-coated bullets. Under the pursuit of these rich and handsome boys, could Lin Wanting still maintain her original intention? Li Mo understood Sun Jiaoyang's intention, but he believed in Lin Wanting. Sun Jiaoyang was not a person who liked to play tricks. She didn't like them. She always used open and above-board schemes. She thought so. 001 didn't have those feelings. In her eyes, the eyes of the people on Earth were the same. She didn't feel anything when they fell on her. She saw Sun Jiaoyang sitting far away from Li Mo, and Li Mo pulling her to sit beside him. 001 was a little anxious. It seemed to be different from what she had imagined. Sun Jiaoyang just greeted others warmly and didn't take the initiative to do anything. On the contrary, those friends of Sun Jiaoyang were all warmly greeting Lin Wanting. Sun Jiaoyang's female friends all knew that Li Mo was her unforgettable ex-boyfriend. They wouldn't be so stupid to flirt with her, so they would naturally find trouble with 001. After all, this was her rival in love, the person who had taken her ex-boyfriend away. Moreover, they had to admit that Sun Jiaoyang's ex-boyfriend was not blind. Lin Wanting and Sun Jiaoyang were beauties of different styles. Some people liked the gorgeous peony, while others liked the elegant Mulan. They also wanted to say that Lin Wanting was petty and a white lotus that couldn't be shown in public. However, she was not like that at all. On the contrary, she was very scholarly, and looked like she was from the same country as Li Mo. Even so, didn't men nowadays not find the same type of girl? Look, a girl like Lin Wanting was very attractive to rich playboys who liked to be noisy in the downtown area. A girl like Sun Jiaoyang should also be very attractive to a self-restrained and polite scholar like Li Mo. It was not appropriate for Li Mo to intervene in the girl's conversation. Moreover, he had to help 001 fend off a group of lascivious men and stop other men from courting her. However, 001 didn't hear the malice in those girls' words at all. She just said what she wanted to say. Yang, this is the first time that she likes a boy so much. Although she is spoiled, she is not a bad person. Moreover, she lost her mother when she was a child. If Yang does anything impolite, please forgive her. After all, you look like a well-educated and reasonable person. Don't argue with Yang. Yes, in all these years, we have only seen her so persistent with Li Mo. If Yang does something bad, it must be because she likes Li Mo too much. You don't know how happy they were when they were together. They were like a golden couple. Those girls seemed to treat 001 as a good friend, confiding in her and whispering to her. If 001 were a female on Earth, she would probably be heartbroken by these words that poked at her lungs. These girls were making fun of 001, and their words were full of traps, which made people feel aggrieved. After all, in their opinion, a well-educated girl like Lin Wanting would definitely not make a scene. They could only hold it in and feel sad. However, 001 blinked her eyes and smiled. Since she is so sad, why don't you help her get back together with Liamo? As soon as 001 said this, the girls became quiet. They looked at her in disbelief, as if they were looking at an alien. Although 001 was indeed an alien, she looked at them in confusion. She didn't understand why it was like this. She was really giving them a sincere suggestion. The problem was that they could see that 001 was sincere and not sarcastic. That was why they thought she was crazy. What did you say? You want to help Liamo and Yang Yang? One of the girls asked tentatively. Liamo had been paying attention to 001, so he heard what she said to the girls. This made Liamo's eyes dim. He held the wine glass so tightly that it seemed like he could crush it. But 001 didn't notice it at all. She continued, yes, didn't you say that Sun Jiaoyang is very sad? In that case, let Liamo be with her again. Won't it be better? Then what about you? Aren't you Liamo's girlfriend now? The girls asked in a trance. It was probably the first time they had encountered such a situation. The current girlfriend took the initiative to matchmake her boyfriend with his ex-girlfriend. Could it be that their combat power was already this strong? Lin Wanting retreated in the face of difficulties. It was so smooth that it scared them. Me? 001 blinked her eyes in confusion. I was going to break up with him anyway. The girls were speechless. Their feelings became complicated. What was going on with this feeling of picking up someone else's leftover and abandonment? Could it be that the one Sun Jiaoyang longed for was the one that Lin Wanting didn't want for a long time? But looking at Sun Jiaoyang, they thought that it was Lin Wanting who wouldn't let go of the man. Liamo's face suddenly became gloomy. He couldn't help but get up and walk toward 001. He directly pulled her up and walked out with her. Liamo felt that he couldn't deceive himself anymore. No matter what the reason was, Lin Wanting's actions weren't because she liked him. She hadn't given up the idea of breaking up with him. She really didn't want to be with him anymore. 001 was puzzled by Liamo's actions. Why did he pull her out for no reason? Moreover, Liamo used a lot of strength. Although he was careful not to hurt 001, his anger at this time was really scary. 001 felt that Liamo had been very strange recently. His emotions had become very inexplicable again. Liamo pulled 001 into the men's room and locked the door so that no one else could come in. Liamo pressed 001 against the wall and pressed his body tightly against her. What did you mean by what you said to them? Liamo approached 001. When he spoke, his breath sprayed on her face, and his lips touched her inadvertently. This made 001 feel very uncomfortable. She couldn't help but want to avoid it. However, 001's dodging at this time stimulated Liamo, who was extremely sensitive, making him feel that the tendons in his brain were about to break. He reached out and held 001's delicate and small chin so that she couldn't move her face anymore. She could only look at him, and only his figure could be seen in her eyes. 001 blinked her eyes innocently and said, I mean that you can be with Sun Jiaoyang. I know you like her very much. It seemed that Liamo's feelings for 001 had been completely blocked by her before. In her mind, there was a deep-rooted idea that Liamo liked Sun Jiaoyang and that he should be with her. Liamo was extremely frustrated, and his heart was even more angry. He was so angry that he laughed. Well, what do you think I am? Liamo didn't expect that one day he would be able to ask such a question. It was really bad. But at this time, Liamo didn't care so much at all. He stared at 001, waiting for her to give him an answer. Looking at Liamo's red eyes at this time, 001 still didn't understand why he had such a big reaction. I think you are Liamo. Even at such a moment, her face was still simple and gentle, and her tone was soft. Her whole person was as beautiful as a peaceful picture. This made Liamo's heart suddenly hurt. He blocked 001's lips fiercely, so that she could no longer say those sad words. Li Mo closed his eyes. He didn't want to see 001's innocent but annoying look. He didn't want to think so much. He didn't want to think about whether she liked him or not. After all, he didn't want to let go and wanted to be with her. No matter whether Lin Wanting liked her or not, she could only be with him in this life. She could only belong to him. Moreover, since he hated her calm look, he would let her be addicted to him. Only he could make her show those attractive looks. Li Mo's breathing became rapid. He kissed 001 eagerly and passionately, picked her up and put her down on the sink. Chapter 26. Li Mo could hardly restrain himself. He barely managed to stop himself, but his hands were still reluctantly caressing the smooth and soft skin under his hands. Li Mo buried his head in 001's ear. His hot breath caused her neck to tremble slightly. In Li Mo's eyes, she was even more cute and charming. Li Mo bit 001's translucent earlobe gently and said vaguely, "I'll take you out of here and go to where I live, okay?" This was obviously a meaningful hint. Not only his words, but Li Mo's body and hands were also conveying this message to 001. Although Li Mo really wanted 001, he didn't want to take her in such a place. Error, Li Mo is in heat again. Should I fulfill his wish? Don't you want to experience the taste of lust? This is a good opportunity. But I failed to break up again. Can our mission still be completed? 001 thought that since she was going to break up with Li Mo, she probably couldn't continue to be with him, right? The rules on Earth seemed to be like this. However, Tutu's words carried a sense of decadence and despair. Could it be that you think that, do you think that your mission can still be successful? What? Error's words shocked 001. Even though Li Mo was still hugging her, his hot body was pressed against her, but this could not stop 001's heart from turning cold. Mission failure? It was impossible. This was impossible for 001. It had never happened before. But now, Error made her have no choice but to face this cruel reality. You should give up. Li Mo's various data shows that it's no longer possible for him and Sun Jiaoyang to be together. Since it was impossible for him to be with Sun Jiaoyang, in fact, it didn't matter if 001 and Li Mo broke up. Because Li Mo was with other people, it also destroyed the plot and didn't match the original world. Facing this head-on blow, 001 became muddle-headed. All he could see were the words, "Mission failed." This was a heavy blow to the undefeated general of planet Araga. Therefore, 001 couldn't even hear what Li Mo was saying and let him do whatever he wanted. Then what should we do? It was rare for to show her vulnerable side in front of Error. An admiral who was a few hundred years old was considered young on planet Araga, but he was ranked first year after year. This was extremely outstanding. She suddenly showed such a childish and confused side, which made Error's heart soften. It's okay. It's okay to fail. I'm just afraid that I'll keep failing and not be able to stand up. Failure was not shameful. How could a successful general not accept failure? That's the behavior of a coward. What's more, you're a novice when it comes to relationships. This is normal. Moreover, you're not on planet Araga. This is a completely unfamiliar Earth. You've even infinitely shrunk your body and power. Tutu comforted 001 with a few words, which made her feel better, although she was still very depressed. You also know that Li Mo's various data has reached the limit. You can't continue anymore. Otherwise, if the males on Earth can't take it, it'll be terrible. You know that we can't deliberately hurt people on Earth. Then, what happens if the mission fails? The purpose of the general is to let you come to Earth to experience the 7 emotions and 6 desires. The mission is incidental. However, you have to complete a mission before you can go to the next world. If you don't complete it, you won't be able to go. The loser can only stay in this world and live the rest of his life according to the life trajectory of the person who replaced him. While 001 and Era were talking, Li Mo had already wrapped her in his coat and carried her out. After Li Mo and Lin Wanting came out, Sun Jiaoyang followed them out. She still couldn't treat their matter calmly. Even though the toilet door was closed and Sun Jiaoyang couldn't see what was going on inside, she could still imagine what was going on when she recalled the scene at the beach. As long as she thought about the man she liked being intimate with another woman, her heart would hurt like it was being cut by a knife. However, Sun Jiaoyang didn't leave. She stood not far away and waited as if she was torturing herself. Fortunately, it didn't take long before Li Mo came out with Lin Wanting in his arms. After seeing the situation of Li Mo and Lin Wanting clearly, Sun Jiaoyang's heart sank. Li Mo left in a hurry with Sun Jiaoyang in his arms. How could she not know what they were going to do now? Sun Jiaoyang couldn't help but want to follow them, but she didn't expect that she would be stopped by someone. Xianghua. What are you doing? Sun Jiaoyang was surprised to see Xianghua suddenly appear in front of her. Xianghua's face was gloomy. This was something she had never seen on her face before, but she didn't look good either. I told you not to go over there, so don't go over there. Why are you being so long-winded? Xianghua said to Sun Jiaoyang in a bad tone. Sun Jiaoyang had always been pampered since she was a child. How could she stand her tone? What do you mean? Are you standing on Lin Wanting's side to stop me? Sun Jiaoyang sneered and sneered. Do you think I don't know who is behind this? However, Xianghua didn't feel guilty at all. Instead, she looked even more terrible. Anyway, I won't let you do anything. Xianghua's contradictory behavior made Sun Jiaoyang feel that she was ridiculous. However, because of her obstruction, Sun Jiaoyang had lost the initiative. She could only watch Li Mo and Lin Wanting leave. She knew what they were going to do, but she couldn't stop them at all. It was a terrible feeling. Sun Jiaoyang could only stare at Xianghua, unwilling to give up. However, Xianghua's expression was even more frightening than hers. She was gnashing her teeth in anger. She had enough of her own behavior. As for Li Mo's house, he bought a house for himself after he had some spare money. Li Mo was going to use it to hide a mistress. He wanted to move out of the school dormitory and live together with 001. However, he didn't expect that before he told 001, he had already come here with her to use it. Li Mo couldn't help but feel lucky that he had made preparations in advance. The place was arranged according to 001's preferences. He had wanted to give her a surprise. However, this time, Li Mo was really angry with 001. He didn't hide or suppress his desire for her at all. As soon as he entered the house, Li Mo couldn't wait to start his journey. The figure on the big bed in the bedroom was moving up and down. The sound of moaning and panting was endless, and the ambiguous voice was getting louder and louder. From the door to the bedroom, clothes were scattered on the ground. The men's and women's clothes were intertwined, and the women's underwear and panties were hung randomly. Li Mo gave full play to his desire for 001. This was also the first time that 001 had experienced the taste of human love and desire, which made her feel very novel and eager to learn. However, this made Li Mo even more crazy for her. Although Li Mo was angry, he wanted to teach 001 a good lesson. He wanted to use this way to occupy her fiercely, leave his mark, and make her belong to him. However, in the end, Li Mo still pitted 001. He understood that she was just going through a relationship, so he wanted to try his best to restrain his desire. However, 001's actions made Li Mo unable to stop at all. As a general on planet Araga, how could the physical fitness of a male on the Earth be comparable to that of a male on the Earth? Therefore, in fact, no matter what Li Mo did, 001 could cooperate very well, and she was very energetic. However, this was not in line with the performance that an Earth female should have, so 001 could only try her best to suppress herself and try to show her discomfort. Therefore, although 001 was fine, in the end, she still pretended to faint, which made Li Mo stop reluctantly, and 001 also felt that it was not enough. This feeling was really good. If she stayed in this world for a few decades and often did this with Li Mo, 001 would also feel good. Li Mo carried 001 into the bathroom and washed her body. However, when he washed her lower body, it was impossible for 001 to be unconscious again, so she pretended to be woken up by Li Mo's action. Li Mo had calmed down at this time. After all, he had vented all his anger on 001. Li Mo's cheeks were slightly red, and he did not dare to look at 001. Although he tried to control his voice, there was still a slight tremble. "I'm sorry." Li Mo apologized to 001, "I didn't wear a condom." Li Mo was so angry that he simply forgot about these things. This was his fault. It was not that Li Mo did not want to have children with 001, but 001 was still too young, and Li Mo did not want to hurt her body. Moreover, Li Mo also felt that 001 might not be ready to be a mother at all. He could not be so selfish. But now, since it had already happened, Li Mo could only use this method to get it out. 001 did not think as much as Li Mo. After all, she was simple-minded. She just felt that Li Mo's movements made her a little uncomfortable. Therefore, she moved her body uncomfortably, but this made Li Mo's expression look more restrained, and sweat flowed down his cheeks. Li Mo wanted to replace it with something else regardless, but he thought that he had just done it with Lin wanting so many times, so he had to control himself. Therefore, Li Mo spent an extremely difficult and painful bath time, but it could not be denied that he was happy. Although it was impossible for him to really do it with her, just looking at 001 and releasing it in front of her made Li Mo very excited, and it also added a different kind of fun. Chapter 27. Li Mo put on the pajamas for 001, these were all things that he had prepared for her a long time ago. The size was also right. He didn't know how many times he had touched her body. He had kissed and caressed every inch of her skin. How could he not know? Li Mo placed 001 under the blanket and covered her body. "Wan, don't even think about breaking up. Just wait for our wedding and our children in the future." Li Mo reached out and gently caressed 001. His voice was also very gentle, but the content of his words was very strong and overbearing. 001 blinked her eyes sleepily, she yawned and replied softly. However, this made Li Mo very excited. He leaned over and hugged her tightly. He almost choked with sobs in her ear and said, Wan, I heard everything you promised. I heard what you promised. You're not allowed to go back on your word. 001 hugged Li Mo back, she patted his back comfortingly, she responded to him again. This made Li Mo hug 001 even harder. It was great, finally, everything was settled. Li Mo restrained the surging emotions in his heart, he only lowered his head and gently kissed 001's forehead. He said softly, "Go to sleep." Then, he watched 001 close her eyes and gradually fall asleep. Li Mo looked at her for a long time before he got up and went to the bathroom. Even though Sun Jiaoyang knew that she had long lost the initiative, it was impossible for her and Li Mo to be together. With Li Mo's personality. If he did not really like Lin wanting very much, how could he impulsively have sex with her? After all, when he was with her, she was the one who took the initiative to kiss him. There was no deep kiss at all. However, Sun Jiaoyang was still unwilling, so she asked 001 out to meet. Ever since she returned to China, the person she had always been with was Li Mo. Sun Jiaoyang did not take 001 seriously at all. Because Sun Jiaoyang was a smart person, she wouldn't be like those stupid women who kept on going against women. She knew that the key to everything was the man's attitude. If Li Mo liked her, even 10 Lin wantings would be no match for her. However, in the end, he still underestimated Lin wanting. He didn't expect that she could control Li Mo so tightly in the palm of her hand. Sun Jiaoyang didn't have a chance to meet 001, not only because she didn't want to, but also because Li Mo protected her so tightly that she didn't have a chance to come into contact with 001. This time, Sun Jiaoyang invited 001 openly, and Li Mo would naturally respect 001's decision. 001 felt that it was not a big deal to see Sun Jiaoyang. Moreover, it was true that she should have reunited with Li Mo, but it was ruined by herself. In any case, 001 still hoped that this girl, who had a good ending in the original plot, could also live a good life in this world. Huh, are you very proud of yourself? Do you want to laugh at me, the loser? Sun Jiaoyang vented to Lin Wanting without scruples. She was not Li Mo. She didn't need to maintain a good image in front of her, because Sun Jiaoyang thought that Lin Wanting must hate her very much. In high school, she had a crush on Li Mo, but Li Mo was with her. Now she finally got what she wanted. How could she not be overjoyed? He must have felt sympathy for him, the loser, from a high position. 001 looked at her and sighed. For the weak females on Earth, they needed to be taken care of. 001 had a very high tolerance. Of course, if she wanted to harm her, 001 would not be soft-hearted to take her life. After all, she was a warrior with blood on her hands. Her existence was to protect others, but she was not afraid of killing. No, I really wanted you to be with him. 001 said sincerely to Sun Jiaoyang. This made Sun Jiaoyang even angrier. She wanted 001 to stop being so hypocritical and disgusting. However, when Sun Jiaoyang looked into 001's clear and warm eyes, her heart was blocked. She couldn't say those hurtful words, and she didn't know why she felt so wrong that she wanted to cry. Sun Jiaoyang's eyes really turned red. She didn't want to show weakness in front of her rival in love. She should be arrogant and scold Lin Wanting. However, Sun Jiaoyang really couldn't bear it, so she cried and said to 001, "Don't be too proud. I won't give up. You should always be on guard against me taking back Li Mo. Moreover, you only took advantage of me when I left. You are so hateful. I am so stupid. I shouldn't have gone abroad. You have been eyeing Li Mo covetously all the time. Hateful, hateful, hateful." In the end, Sun Jiaoyang was incoherently cursing 001. 001 let her vent and even handed her a tissue. This made Sun Jiaoyang even more stunned. She stopped crying and glared at 001 fiercely. However, her red eyes were not convincing at all. She looked a little pitiful. Seeing that she was choking from crying, 001 took the initiative to reach out and gently stroke her back. This finally made Sun Jiaoyang stop crying. She found that she really couldn't get angry with Lin Wanting. It seemed that no matter what she did, Lin Wanting would tolerate her like a willful child who was throwing a tantrum. When Sun Jiaoyang finally stopped crying, 001 took the initiative to reach out and hold her hand. This startled Sun Jiaoyang, and she even forgot to struggle free. 001 looked at Sun Jiaoyang with his eyes full of care and said, "I know you are a good girl. You shouldn't become like this for me and Li Mo. There's a wider world waiting for you outside, and you'll meet the one that belongs to you again." Sun Jiaoyang was so shocked by 001's words that she forgot to react for a moment. Then she seemed to feel 001's hand on her hand. She quickly broke free, but she couldn't help crying more loudly. 001 touched her head and let her vent as much as she wanted. It would be fine as long as she cried out. In the end, Sun Jiaoyang still went abroad, but this time, it wasn't because she was at odds with Li Mo, nor was it because she was half coaxed and half cheated by her childhood friend. Rather, she really wanted to go out and broaden her horizons and enrich herself. Yes, she was beautiful and had a good family. How could no one like her? The outside world was so wonderful. She didn't want to waste her time and energy on the annoying Li Mo and Lin Wanting. When she made a name for herself, she must come back and slap Li Mo and Lin Wanting in the face. Li Mo and 001 soon moved out. At the same time, Li Mo's career was getting busier and busier. He was no longer limited to studying at school. However, 001's study was still the same as before. She was not in a hurry at all. But the relationship between her and Li Mo made their classmates very envious. She and Li Mo had become the legend of a loving couple in this university. Sometimes Li Mo would go out for a few days and couldn't come back. He had to inspect the market with his partners and other things. 001 also had to study at school, so she couldn't go with him. Every time this happened, Li Mo always missed her very much. Outside, Li Mo would call 001 every night to listen to her voice. "What did you do today?" Li Mo's low voice came through the phone and fell into 001's ear. It was particularly gentle and sexy, which made people's heart itch. At this time, 001 was lying on the big bed after taking a bath. As usual, she was chatting with Li Mo on the phone. After being with Li Mo, 001 became more and more casual in front of him, including the posture of lying on the big bed, which was not ladylike at all. But in front of her own people, she could do whatever she wanted to do. 001's ears moved slightly because of Li Mo's voice. She always said what she wanted to say, so she rubbed her ears and said, "It's a pity that you are not in front of me. Otherwise, I really want to kiss you." 001's words made Li Mo breathe quickly for a moment, but he soon chuckled happily. Through the phone, Li Mo's laughter also passed his good mood to 001. "Baby, you really make me happy." When Li Mo loved 001 very much, he would say such a love name to her. How could Li Mo not want 001 to be right in front of him, and he wanted to rub her into his arms. 001 told Li Mo what she had done that day, bit by bit. This was a good habit cultivated by Li Mo. Li Mo wanted 001 to get used to him and couldn't do without him. Li Mo was not impatient at all. He asked 001 carefully, almost asking her how many times she went to the toilet in a day. "Did you miss me?" This was the key point. Although Li Mo asked very gently and made people feel warm, 001 knew that if she didn't answer well, there would be something she would like to see when Li Mo came back. "Yes, I miss you every day. I know that. You are not here. I have nothing else to do but miss you," 001 said to Li Mo very casually. This made Li Mo's heart unable to extricate itself. She always unconsciously let Li Mo sink more and more for her. Li Mo couldn't help laughing in a low voice. His Wan was so cute. Li Mo began to explain to 001 what had happened here in a soft voice. He would also tell her everything, including the night where he was at the moment. "There are no clouds in the sky, but there are many bright stars. When I look at them, I often think of your eyes. They are so beautiful that I can't help indulging in them when I look at them. If there is a chance next time, I want to take you here and hold you under the starry sky." Li Mo's voice lingered in 001's ears, which was very moving. Even if 001 didn't have feelings, at this moment, she was moved by the beautiful picture described by Li Mo. Gradually, 001's long breathing sound came from the other end of the phone. Li Mo knew that she had fallen asleep, and his words gradually stopped. Every night, 001 fell asleep in Li Mo's gentle voice. Li Mo accompanied her to sleep and listened to the sound of her falling asleep. Every time, he felt very happy. "Good night," Li Mo said softly on the other end of the phone. Then he kissed the phone gently, as if he was kissing 001, "I love you, baby." Li Mo went out for many days before he came back. When he came back, 001 was still asleep and didn't know it at all. If there was no aggressive human on Earth approaching, 001's defense system would not respond at all. Until 001 felt that her lips were blocked. She couldn't breathe at all. At the same time, a hand appeared in front of her, rubbing her lips vigorously. This woke 001 up and made her open her eyes. Unexpectedly, 001 saw that Li Mo had returned. He was on top of 001, and her nightgown had been pushed up to her neck. Li Mo was lying on top of 001. Li Mo was very anxious. His other hand directly took off 001's underwear, and his teeth bit off the cover with difficulty. Li Mo breathed quickly and said to 001, baby, I missed you so much. Let me go in first. I'll make you comfortable later. With that, Liamo opened the bedside table and took out the ointment from it. He was afraid that 001 would feel uncomfortable, so he had prepared everything. At this moment, Liamo just wanted to completely possess 001 and feel her. He was afraid that his foreplay was not enough to make her feel uncomfortable, so he prepared to use this thing. Although 001 was caught off guard by Liamo, it was not a shock for her, and she was ready to accept Liamo's enthusiasm. Liamo kissed 001's little mouth to comfort her. Good girl. Liamo and 001 fooled around for a while. Every night when he called 001, he was teased by her. In the end, after hanging up the phone, he went to take a cold shower alone. Liamo's body ached when he thought about 001. As soon as he got home, he couldn't wait to have her. After Liamo's enthusiasm and longing gradually vented, he got up and tidied up the two of them. He sat on the bed with 001, hugging her and talking intimately. After Liamo and 001 lived together, he naturally lived a happy life with the beauty in his arms every night. It should be said that Liamo and 001 lived the life of a newlywed couple in advance. Their things were intertwined everywhere, and their lives were penetrated by each other. They were indeed very intimate. Wan, after graduation, let's get married. Liamo lowered his head and kissed 001's forehead. His eyes were full of tenderness as he watched her propose calmly. She responded calmly and hugged Liamo back, rubbing her head against his chest. However, the two of them skipped this matter and naturally began to talk about the trifles of daily life. Chapter 28. The body of a luxury car kept shaking violently, the doors and windows were tightly shut, but there were still ambiguous sounds leaking out. After an unknown period of time, the trembling of the car gradually stopped, and the window was also lowered. In an instant, an ambiguous smell wafted out, and the inside of the car was filled with the smell of sweat and lust. Liamo got up from 001. He tidied up his clothes, but 001 was still lying on the seat that had been lowered. Her clothes were scattered everywhere in the car, her underwear were casually hung on the seat. Liamo took out a tissue and carefully wiped 001 clean. He picked up the clothes one by one, he held 001 in his arms and gently helped her put on her clothes. Wan, are you really not going to work with me? Liamo sat intimately with 001 in his arms. He tucked her sweaty hair behind her ear, he lovingly kissed her flushed cheeks and asked. 001 glared at Liamo in annoyance, but after being fiercely loved by him, she only exuded an alluring charm. It made Liamo have a reaction from her gaze. I'm not going. 001 curled her lips and said, go to work by yourself. Lin Wanting was a secretary major. In the original world, she was also Liamo's secretary. But it was only the relationship between a boss and a subordinate, they didn't have any ambiguous relationship at all. But now, 001 was also Liamo's secretary. It was when they had just gotten married. Liamo, on the other hand, wanted to have unspoken rules with his secretary every day. 001's uniform was always taken off and put on by him, put on and taken off again. When they went to work this morning, Liamo even fooled around in the car, which made 001 have a little temper. However, this made Liamo feel pity for her. Wan was also very cute when she lost her temper. Therefore, Liamo pinched 001's nose intimately and kissed her red lips. Okay. I won't go. You can go buy some stuff. With that, Liamo handed over his salary card again and let 001 spend as much as he wanted. Liamo kissed 001's face again and again. Then he went to work, while 001 went shopping. Coincidentally, it was Sun Jiaoyang who had returned from his studies and specially came to visit Liamo. Sun Jiaoyang was not like the last time she went abroad in a fit of pique. This time, she was studying seriously abroad. Originally, President Sun, who had always doted on Sun Jiaoyang, only wanted to find a son-in-law to manage the company for him and take good care of Sun Jiaoyang. Now, he had tried to hand the heavy burden of the company to her. Sun Jiaoyang had long let go of her obsession when she was young. However, for some reason, she still wanted to come and see how Li Mo and Lin Wanting were doing. Li Mo, long time no see. Now, Sun Jiaoyang could already greet Li Mo faintly. Li Mo was also willing to forget those unpleasant things and treat Sun Jiaoyang calmly. However, before Li Mo and Sun Jiaoyang, the former boyfriend and girlfriend, could catch up, Li Mo's wife 001's video request came. Li Mo apologized to Sun Jiaoyang. Naturally, he chose to answer it without hesitation. However, Li Mo did not expect that the scene that came into view made his hand tremble and he almost dropped his phone. However, after Li Mo quickly reacted, he covered his nose with one hand and covered the screen of the phone with the other. Sun Jiaoyang, she had never seen such a cold and embarrassed side of Li Mo. In Sun Jiaoyang's heart, Li Mo had always been that cold and beautiful young man who was like an ink painting. However, now, Sun Jiaoyang seemed to feel that something in her heart had broken. Li Mo apologized to Sun Jiaoyang again. Then, he went into the lounge without hesitation and closed the door tightly. Sun Jiaoyang, seeing Li Mo's expression, how could she not guess what Lin Wanting had sent him? It must be something indescribable. Sun Jiaoyang felt that she was really stupid to still pay attention to the two of them after so many years. She should have stayed away from them, so she shook her head and left. 001 really didn't mean it. How could she know that Sun Jiaoyang was here? But she had indeed interrupted him by accident, and in an indescribable way. When 001 was shopping, she was trying on a type of underwear, but she was a little hesitant. She couldn't tell whether it looked good on her or not. If Li Mo accompanied her shopping, she could let him choose for her. But today, Li Mo was not here. It didn't matter. 001 cleverly sent a video to Li Mo in the fitting room. She used the appearance of herself wearing the new underwear and asked Li Mo to take a good look at it for her. Li Mo. He almost had a nosebleed. At the same time, he was as worried as a thief, for fear that his wife would inadvertently be seen by others. However, 001 was still seriously asking Li Mo for his opinion. She really didn't mean to seduce him. If she wanted to, she could just ask for it directly. Why did she have to do this? However, to Li Mo, this was a rather impressive method of amusing himself. Therefore, Li Mo couldn't wait. He didn't go to work and directly rushed to 001's side. At this time, he didn't care about Sun Jiaoyang. He didn't even know if she left or when she left. A man who could still sit still when his wife was in such a situation was either incompetent or really disgusted with her. After being married to Li Mo for 10 years, 001 also had 2 children with him, who could play with soy sauce. However, since they had children, Li Mo and 001 were indeed different from before. After all, they had become parents. However, they still loved each other very much, especially when Li Mo had specially sent the children to their grandparents for a few days, so that they could enjoy the world of the two of them that they hadn't seen in a long time. In the living room, Li Mo stood in front of the sofa, and 001 was lying on it in disheveled clothes. She didn't even take off her clothes. She just took off her underwear, and Li Mo couldn't wait to have sex with her. 001's clothes covered Li Mo's big hands, and her skirt also covered Li Mo's movements. Although they had 2 children, and even the 7-year itch had long passed, Li Mo was still so obsessed with 001's body. Every time he touched 001, he was as eager as a young man, as if he had met it for the first time. However, after a long period of married life, Li Mo and 001's bodies became more and more in sync, so that they could enjoy this kind of thing more and more. After a round of sex on the sofa, Li Mo kissed 001 gently and carried her upstairs. Only when the 2 little masters at home were not there could 001 and Li Mo have sex like this. In the stairwell, in the bedroom, on the back of the door, on the floor, on the coffee table. 001 and Li Mo went all the way to the bedroom. They used all the places that could be used, and they were as crazy and enthusiastic as young people. When Li Mo and 001 finally calmed down, he sat in the bathtub with her in his arms and gently washed her body. Li Mo lowered his head and kissed her, asking softly, "Baby, are you tired?" Li Mo had single-handedly developed this body, and had also completely enlightened 001 about emotions and desires. Therefore, 001 was particularly calm in front of him when it came to emotions, which also made Li Mo particularly excited. 001 played with the water with one hand and shook his head gently with the other. "I'm fine." 001 knew that at this time, men on the earth needed a woman's weakness to satisfy their sense of accomplishment. However, 001 was really not tired at all. On the contrary, she was physically and mentally comfortable. Perhaps 001 would have pretended in front of Li Mo in the past, but now they were an old couple, and 001 didn't want to do that. She could still say that because she was worried about Li Mo's face. She was afraid that she would hurt him. Li Mo didn't know whether he saw it or not. He lowered his head and chuckled behind 001, stroked her shoulder, and gently kissed her snow-white neck. Chapter 29. 001 accompanied Li Mo for the rest of his life anyway. The way the two of them got along had not changed even when they were old. In fact, love or not was no longer that important to Li Mo. He was very happy to have 001 accompany him for the rest of his life. However, on his deathbed, Li Mo still felt a little unreconciled. He seemed to have been deceived by 001 for the rest of his life. When he was young, he didn't know what was wrong with his eyes. He fell in love with her and was even loyal to her. Li Mo held 001's hand tightly and glared at her. He gritted his teeth and said, "If there is a next life, I will definitely ignore you." After saying that, Li Mo left. Of course, he was too old, it could be considered a happy funeral. He was already in his 90s, but he was still full of energy. His descendants were a little puzzled by Li Mo's last words. After all, in their eyes, the old couple was so tired of each other. It made the young people blush and their hearts beat uncontrollably. They only thought that it was a special interest between Li Mo and 00. In any case, they had learned a lot over the years. They were old but not old at heart. They were much better at playing than them. 001 was not very sad. This was the natural law of life on Earth. Li Mo was already considered old. It was the same for the creatures on planet Araga, it was just that they had a longer lifespan. 001 was very calm about these. Moreover, she had indeed accompanied Li Mo for the rest of his life. 001 did not leave any regrets. After Li Mo left, 001 would be able to move on to the next mission world to complete her mission. This time, both 001 and Error had made up their minds. They could only succeed. They could not fail. The last time was considered a novice mission. Neither of them was familiar with the job. This time, the person who did not want to do it in the world was Wenqing. She was just like her name. She was a typical girl on Earth who could be seen as a top student at a glance. Glasses, braided hair, clear soup noodles, and the class commissary in charge of studies. Unrequited love was another unrequited love. The boy who had a crush already had a girlfriend, but they broke up later. Fortunately, the girl this time was more awesome than Lin wanting in the previous world. After the guy she liked broke up with his girlfriend, she found the right time to confess and succeeded. In fact, the story this time was like this. The boy that Wenqing liked was called Xiaoyu. He was a straight-A student just like her. However, there were differences between top students. Wenqing was the unpopular four-eyed girl, but Xiaoyu was the most handsome guy in school. Not only was he handsome, gentle and courteous, he was also the main member of the school's swimming team and had a great figure. However, Xiaoyu, who was pursued by everyone, already had a girlfriend. Surprisingly, his girlfriend was the campus cheerleader, Fei Fei, who did not have a good reputation. Apart from her appearance, she was nothing in the eyes of others, and her grades were the lowest. The hormones of puberty were stirring, and their eyes unconsciously lingered on a beautiful girl like Fei Fei. However, Fei Fei's appearance was like a vixen to them. She looked like a restless vixen and would be despised. Although Wen Qing was not likable, she was recognized as a good student. She and Fei Fei were two extremes. Fei Fei did not like to study and liked to play. In the eyes of others, Xiaoyu was like a flower stuck in a pile of cow dung. Xiaoyu and Fei Fei were not a good match for each other, but Xiaoyu did not care about other people's opinions at all. He was very good to his girlfriend. Later, Xiaoyu and Fei Fei broke up because of irreconcilable conflicts. She also transferred to another school and left. However, Xiaoyu still could not forget her, but he also wanted to get over it. Therefore, when Wen Qing confessed to him, he told her his situation truthfully and said that he was willing to have a try with her to see if she was willing. Of course, Wen Qing was willing. She plucked up a lot of courage to tell Xiaoyu her feelings, and she did not expect that she would really succeed. After dating Xiaoyu, she became his girlfriend. Xiaoyu was very good to her, considerate and meticulous. However, he did not have any intimate actions with her, and Wen Qing knew that he did not forget Fei Fei. However, they gradually entered a good situation, and Xiaoyu was also trying to fall in love with her. Wen Qing believed that one day she could occupy the whole heart of Xiaoyu. However, at this time, Fei Fei came back. She came to get back together with Xiaoyu. She did not care about Wen Qing, who had no face, no figure, and was far worse than her. Excellent grades? Did men look at women based on their grades? Fei Fei was very sure that Xiaoyu would not forget his old love for her. Xiaoyu refused Fei Fei at the beginning, but Fei Fei began to pester him. Later, Xiaoyu also found that he could not forget Fei Fei at all, so he told Wen Qing his feelings again. Xiaoyu was not Fei Fei. He was a person with principles, and he was also a so-called good person with integrity. He would not have anything with Fei Fei before his relationship with Wen Qing ended. Since Fei Fei came back, he consciously kept a distance from her. However, he had tried hard, but he did not fall in love with Wen Qing. He still had Fei Fei in his heart. Although Wen Qing was sad, she still chose to let go and let Fei Fei and Xiaoyu be together. Wen Qing did not blame anyone. Xiaoyu had always been honest with her, and he did not lie to her. Moreover, she had also tried hard, and she succeeded in becoming the boyfriend of the boy she liked. What's more, Xiaoyu had always been cooperating with her, and he had worked hard to fall in love with her. Wen Qing was just sad. Even so, Xiaoyu still could not fall in love with her. Wen Qing did not want to be like this anymore, so she left. Just like before, 001 would make up for Wen Qing's share. At this time, 001 and Error did not dare to look down on this task anymore. They thought that it was very easy. After all, they had learned a bloody lesson in the last world. At this time, Xiaoyu has already broken up with Fei Fei, and it is the time when Wen Qing is going to confess to him, Error explained to 001. So, now we just need to confess to Xiaoyu as before, right? That's right, and the original Wen Qing succeeded very easily. But I don't know why, I always feel that it will not be so smooth. After hearing Error's words, 001 was also a little flustered. After all, 001 did not even blush in the face of the alien army, but she was really mentally and physically exhausted by this Earth task. No matter what, let's try it first, 001 took a deep breath and said. Anyway, she would not back down. The last thing 001 lacked was courage. Well, let's do it one by one. Let's do it today. Anyway, it's better to do it with Xiaoyu. Error, you are really getting better and better. You can understand such profound words on Earth. Of course, I am smarter than you. 001 nodded in agreement. Then I will stop Xiaoyu on his way. Therefore, after class, when Xiaoyu was about to go to the gym to practice swimming, he saw the class commissary in charge of studies rushing towards him. This caused Xiaoyu's heart to tremble. He carefully thought about it. His homework had been completed well, and he didn't owe her homework. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. 001 walked in front of Xiaoyu, reached out to stop him, and looked at him seriously. In fact, 001 didn't know that her appearance was really a little scary. Only Xiaoyu had a good demeanor and was able to smile politely at her. What's the matter? Wen Qing. Xiaoyu was like his name, a gentleman like jade. His every move was with good breeding and gentleness. It was precisely because of this that others would feel sorry for Xiaoyu, thinking that he and Fei Fei's styles were really too different. However, things of the heart were like fish drinking water. Only one knew whether it was hot or cold. Xiaoyu didn't need others to intervene. However, Fei Fei couldn't do it. She felt very wronged and felt that she was very good. It was a blessing for Xiaoyu to be with her. How could others say that? Moreover, Fei Fei didn't like Xiaoyu to control her and preach to her, which annoyed her very much. Therefore, for various reasons, Fei Fei broke up with Xiaoyu. Although Xiaoyu was very good, Fei Fei had never been short of men's pursuit, so she was not so reluctant to leave Xiaoyu. 001 had a serious expression on his face. Coupled with Fang Qing's attire, he looked like a younger version of the head of teaching. Many boys passing by couldn't help shaking their bodies gently and whispering, "It's over." It seems that a new star of Miju Shirtai has risen. The future of our male compatriots. Xiaoyu heard it, but he could still look as if nothing had happened. It was really good self-restraint. Of course, 001 didn't hear it at all, because she was thinking about her confession lines. Even if she heard it, she wouldn't understand what it meant. After all, Liamo spent his whole life not teaching 001 what feelings were. She was still ignorant. Xiaoyu, I like you. Go out with me. Xiaoyu. 001 said it with great momentum and cadence. It was rare for a girl to turn a confession into a posture of revenge, which was really impressive. However, 001 gave people the feeling that he was reciting lines, which made Xiaoyu speechless. He didn't know why 001 suddenly acted like this. He sighed and whispered to 001, "Sorry, I refuse." After that, Xiaoyu turned around and left. He felt that today's commissary in charge of studies was a little strange. 001. This was different from what they had agreed on. She failed at the beginning? Error. It's over. It's really not going well. Error, why did he refuse? He promised Wen Qing. Although 001 warned herself before coming, she still didn't think that this task was difficult. This made Error silent for a while, and he tentatively said, "Probably," he refused. Although Wen Qing's dress was old-fashioned and dull, she was still a beautiful girl. 001 used her own body to create her body data. Perhaps on planet Araga, Jianghu Wen Qing's level was pulled down even lower. 001 agreed with Error with a heavy face. What should we do? Because Xiaoyu chose Fei Fei, the school's famous straw bag flower vase, everyone thought that he was a person who only looked at the face. After all, Fei Fei's beauty was also unique in this school. Therefore, it was incredible that Wen Qing got together with him, although this was in line with people's expectations. At least Wen Qing could pull him back to the right path and prevent him from being tempted by Fei Fei. According to the collected information, 001 and Error also came to the conclusion that Xiaoyu only cared about appearance. 001 thought that this was normal. Choosing a partner to pass on better genes to future generations, Wen Qing did not have a big advantage in this aspect. Appearance is not enough now. If Wen Qing can succeed, it means that Xiaoyu is not only looking at appearance. So, I want Xiaoyu to see what I'm capable of, right? 001 cheered up and asked. She didn't expect that she would be hit head-on at the first hurdle in this world. Her ambition was almost shattered. Even as a novice in the previous world, at least she was very successful at the beginning. Error was silent for a while. Although it felt something was wrong, it seemed that 001 was right. Well, it should be so. 001 directly ignored the uncertainty in Error's words. She took it as an affirmation, and then firmly carried it out. The reason why Xiaoyu chose Wenqing was that he felt Wenqing's sincerity. A girl who loved him and had a good character was definitely a girl worth dating. Xiaoyu cherished it very much and was very grateful for Wenqing's love. He really wanted to go out for her. However, he didn't feel this from 001. He didn't even know why she confessed to him. Was it fun? The commissary in charge of studies didn't look like such a person. 001's so-called inner qualities were to write a love letter to Xiaoyu. Didn't people on the earth pursue their partners in this way? Of course, with 001's small brain and poor brain capacity, how could she come up with any romantic words? Of course, 001 couldn't do this kind of thing. It relied on Error to search for information on the earth. I found it. It will definitely succeed. Believe me, the reason Xiaoyu rejected you last time was definitely because your confession wasn't good enough, Tu said with certainty, looking eager to give it a try. Is that so? 001 was skeptical. However, she had always believed in Error's judgment, so she was willing to give it a try. Therefore, 001 went to Xiaoyu's dormitory and placed a circle of heart-shaped candles, with two big words, Xiaoyu, written in the middle. It really took 001 a lot of effort to make it so exquisite. In fact, this was a physical work, and ordinary girls couldn't do it. Of course, 001 didn't notice it at all. No girl would do this at all. This was simply a romantic confession made by a boy to a girl. I'm afraid that 001 was the only girl who had done it. This move was naturally very eye-catching. Soon, she was surrounded by a circle of people. In particular, the two names on the ground were the school hunk, Xiaoyu. It wasn't that no one had confessed to him before. It should be said that there were a lot of girls. But they were all shyly blocking the road to confess, or secretly writing love letters. The only person who could cause such a huge commotion was 001. In particular, she used the classic trick of a boy chasing a girl. Wasn't this gender misplaced? No matter what their intentions were, in short, there were more and more people watching the fun. Xiaoyu, come down. Someone is looking for you downstairs. 001 shouted upstairs. After saying that, his mood became more and more subtle. After all, this kind of thing should be called for girls. However, the smile on his face was getting bigger and bigger. He also wanted to see what their school hunk would do in the face of such a suitor. When Xiaoyu heard this, he walked to the balcony door and poked his head out. After seeing the scene that 001 had made downstairs, he almost couldn't keep his usual gentle smile on his face. Xiaoyu's mind was blank for half a second. He was speechless for a moment before he found his voice. What is this? Xiaoyu muttered to himself. No one heard him, but it didn't take long for his roommates to come out of the concierge. Seeing this situation, they all looked like they were watching a good show. Xiaoyu, why are you still standing here? Don't let the study committee member wait for too long. That's right. The study committee member usually looks gentle and soft. I didn't expect her to be so fierce when she's chasing after a girl. Oh, this is called exploding for love. Xiaoyu, you're a man. Why are you being so shy and reserved? Xiaoyu's roommates patted his shoulder, hooked his neck, and especially the uniform wretched smile on their faces. This experience really left a deep impression on Xiaoyu and was hard to forget. Xiaoyu didn't want to admit that at that moment, he really had the idea of running away. Chapter 30. Xiaoyu felt his face stiffen. What kind of grudge? Did the study commissary really like his confession? Was he really not playing a prank to prank him? However, when Xiaoyu lowered his head, he happened to meet the expectant gaze of 001, who had raised his head. As soon as he saw him, 001's eyes lit up. His left eye wrote down, and his right eye wrote accept. Xiaoyu. In the end, Xiaoyu walked down the stairs with difficulty. Step by step, he walked in front of 001. Xiaoyu, I like you. Please date me. 001 held the heart-shaped candle in front of Xiaoyu, she said to him seriously. 001 was always so serious, as if she was carrying out a very serious task. Although this attitude made people have a good impression, however, he couldn't feel her sincere love for him. The people around them all cheered for 001. There were even many voices of agree to her and agree to her. This really gave Xiaoyu a headache. A serious and devout, delicate and pretty girl, her eyes were sincere as she stood in front of him. She held the candle in her hand and looked at him, pouring out her love. In the faint candlelight, Xiaoyu could even see the cute fluff on the girl's flawless skin. Such a beautiful scene. Undoubtedly, it was very touching. Xiaoyu was no exception. However, he could not say that he was moved by 001's feelings, because she did not have any feelings at all. Xiaoyu was a bystander, so he only felt helpless. Wenqing, I'm sorry, I don't like you. Xiaoyu was even more direct than the last time he rejected her, because he did not want to be entangled for no reason anymore. This wasn't like the usual Xiaoyu. He would always save face for the girls. He would clearly reject them and not give them any illusions, but he would not hurt them too straightforwardly. However, Xiaoyu understood that 001 was different from the other girls who had confessed to him, so he had to treat her differently. Naturally, 001 would not be hurt by Xiaoyu's words, but her face still showed disappointment. Did he fail again? Why was it so difficult for her, but easy for Wenqing? Oh, I see. 001 responded in a low voice, which made others feel a little sorry for him. But I will continue to work hard. 001 pulled himself together and looked at Xiaoyu with sparkling eyes. She even made a gesture of encouragement to Xiaoyu, which made Xiaoyu almost blacked out. The others couldn't help but smile when they saw 001's expression. Xiaoyu's roommates even looked at him teasingly. He's really charming. He's actually able to make a girl, a study commissary who usually conforms to the rules, act like this. He's really awesome. Their eyes clearly revealed such a message, which made Xiaoyu really bitter and speechless. It felt like he was the only sober person in a drunken crowd. Wenqing didn't mean it that way. She didn't confess because she liked him. Depressed, Xiaoyu watched 001 pack up her things and leave, but he had a very bad feeling in his heart. Since then, 001 had become famous, and everyone knew that she liked Xiaoyu. Originally, although Wenqing was a study commissary with excellent academic performance, she usually only had a sense of existence when it came to her academic performance. But this time, she, who was like a little invisible, became so high profile because of a boy, which shocked everyone. Sure enough, Xiaoyu's feeling was right. His quiet days were all broken by Wenqing. What kind of love letter is it today? Take it out and let us have a look. As soon as his roommates saw Xiaoyu come back, they couldn't wait to say. Recently, they had really gotten addicted to watching Xiaoyu's show. Who asked 001 to not stop and create a show for them? Xiaoyu didn't pay attention to them. He couldn't do such a thing like spreading a girl's love letter everywhere. It was these bad friends who either peeped at it, took it out from the place where he put it, or snatched it from his hand. Xiaoyu also knew that they didn't have bad intentions, and they wouldn't say it out. They just laughed among themselves, but it also made him feel very helpless. I can't participate in your past, but I will accompany you in your future. Xiaoyu's roommate made an exaggerated heart sign and read the sentence aloud. It was really disgusting. Oh, how touching. Today, it's Master Yu's poem. What was it yesterday? The roommate pointed to another person and asked. Soon, someone followed up with a look of holding Shiyu's heart in his hands. Yesterday, it was Master Shen Songwen's. I knew you would come, so I waited. And the day before yesterday, maybe I was just a passerby in your life, but you won't meet a second me. The roommates discussed the love poem that 001 wrote to Xiaoyu, and the discussion was very heated. 001 wrote such a sentence to Xiaoyu every day, clipped it on a rose, and put it in Xiaoyu's storage box. Xiaoyu was also very helpless, but his roommates had seen enough of a good show, and they teased him every day. Is she going to write a sentence to you every day? She really has perseverance and determination. I don't know how long she can persist. She pursued a boy to such an extent, and they also admired that she was a real man. 001 didn't remain anonymous. She was afraid that Xiaoyu didn't know that she was the one who did it, so she signed every sentence. Xiaoyu collected all these things together. He wanted to return them to 001, so that she wouldn't do it again. However, Xiaoyu had never found a suitable opportunity, because 001 was simply poisonous. Whether it was a chance encounter or a special visit, 001's mouth was a confession to Xiaoyu. 001 felt that the task in this world was completely opposite to that in the previous world. In the previous world, Lin wanting was a secret love, for fear that others would know that she liked Liamo. In this world, because 001 failed, she didn't become Xiaoyu's girlfriend, so she pursued him with great fanfare, for fear that others wouldn't know that she liked him. On the road, Xiaoyu could see 001 coming over with a large bouquet of roses, opening her mouth to recite Shakespeare to him. How can a woman be so demure to refuse you to take her virginity? How can a man be so stupid to cut off his bloodline and be willing to be his own grave? Xiaoyu's fair face turned red. Because of this poem, he almost didn't dare to look into the eyes of 001 and the people around him. What happened to being reserved? What had happened to the originally quiet and shy commissary in charge of studies? How could she suddenly become so unrestrained? The enthusiasm and boldness of foreigners didn't suit her. As a big boy, he felt uncomfortable, but she could still say it so calmly. It was precisely because of 001's behavior that Xiaoyu couldn't say what he wanted to say. He was defeated. He could almost be considered to have run away in defeat. When eating in the cafeteria, as soon as Xiaoyu finished eating, he saw 001 coming over with a plate. She looked at him with burning eyes and praised him while eating. Your eyes are brighter than the stars, making me drown in them. Your lips are more beautiful than cherry blossoms, making me want to kiss them hard, Xiaoyu. He almost spat out a mouthful of rice. How could he still eat? In particular, Xiaoyu really couldn't stand the strange eyes of the people around them. He couldn't be as indifferent as 001. Speaking of this, in fact, Xiaoyu was very curious about how Wenqing could say those words with a calm face. Xiaoyu could only pick up the plate and leave. He had planned to make it clear to 001 the next time he saw her. However, every time 001 made a move, Xiaoyu couldn't resist and left, so he didn't have a chance to say those words. Even when Xiaoyu went to the toilet, 001 didn't let him go. She squatted at the door of the men's room. When other boys came out and saw her, they were shocked, but 001 didn't feel anything at all. The other boys all thought that Wenqing had gone crazy in order to chase Xiaoyu and had thrown caution to the wind. It was a little scary, but it also made other boys envious of Xiaoyu. After all, there was a girl who did this for them. As soon as Xiaoyu came out and saw 001, his face became very subtle, and even his body stiffened. You enter my dreams every day. I imagine touching your temperature, I want so much. Before 001 finished, Xiaoyu's cheeks turned red and she quickly left. If it weren't for the fact that Xiaoyu took his relationship seriously and didn't want to be casual, he would have agreed to 001, because it was really a terrible torture. 001's behavior was really shameless, but Xiaoyu was a gentleman. Xiaoyu was a good person and treated people gently, but he was not a saint. He also had his principles, and his tolerance was limited. 001 didn't have any intention or aggression towards Xiaoyu, so Xiaoyu didn't pay much attention to her. However, it was also because of her inexplicable behavior that Xiaoyu didn't want to pester her anymore. Therefore, when Xiaoyu met 001 again, he spoke before she could speak. Otherwise, Xiaoyu had a hunch that if he let Wenqing speak, he would definitely not be able to say it this time. Xiaoyu didn't expect that one day he would be like this, and it seemed that he would cry bitterly. However, during this period of time, Wenqing was almost everywhere, and Xiaoyu really had enough. Wenqing, please stop. Your behavior has already caused me trouble, Xiaoyu said to her with a serious face. This made 001 stunned, and he couldn't react. Error, have we failed again? Yes, since Xiaoyu has made it clear that he doesn't like you, then you should naturally stop. Some men don't like to express themselves passionately. Maybe they like to be more reserved. 001 thought that Xiaoyu liked cheerleaders like Fei Fei, and he liked to express himself passionately, but it seemed that their plan was wrong. Chapter 31. Since Xiaoyu doesn't like to be direct, then we'll take a subtle approach and fight in a roundabout way. Error's words made 001 have a flash of inspiration. That's right, Error, this is the same as when we go to the battlefield to formulate tactics, right? We treat Xiaoyu as a territory that needs to be conquered. 001's words were greatly praised by Error. That's right, that's it. You become smarter after staying on Earth for a long time. This made 001 regain some confidence, since he had adopted the unobvious pursuit methods on Earth. Thus, early the next morning, Xiaoyu went downstairs for class and saw 001 holding a hot breakfast in front of his dormitory. This is the Chin steamed bun shop opposite the school, your favorite mushroom stuffing. As he said this, 001 did not allow Xiaoyu to refuse. He stuffed the steamed bun and soy milk into his hand. Before he could react, he had already left. He left. Xiaoyu. Was he really too naive? How could he think that Wenqing had given up? However, compared to the strong sense of existence that could not be ignored, but Wenqing now came and went without a trace, which also gave Xiaoyu a headache. Coincidentally, his roommates came down one after another and saw this scene. They patted Xiaoyu's shoulder, looked at each other, and laughed wretchedly. This gave Xiaoyu a headache. He didn't even want to look at the eyes of the people behind him. Oh, a breakfast of love. However, those people couldn't be ignored so easily. They teased Xiaoyu all the way to class. Xiaoyu naturally didn't want to accept 001's things without knowing why. However, it was too wasteful to throw it away. It was really a waste of God's gifts. Xiaoyu couldn't do such a thing. Xiaoyu could only eat it first and prepare to return the money to 001 later. Xiaoyu took an elective course, but there were too many people. It was basically difficult for him to sit down, so he could only stand at the back and listen. However, since he had 001, he didn't have to worry anymore. Because every time, 001 would take the seat for him. As soon as Xiaoyu entered the classroom, 001 raised his hand and waved at him. Xiaoyu, over here. This time, everyone's eyes fell on Xiaoyu, looking back and forth between him and 001. The matter of 001 chasing Xiaoyu was a big deal, and some of them had heard about it. 001's actions made these people look at them even more ambiguously, making Xiaoyu almost want to cover her face and leave. However, 001 did not feel this at all. It continued to wave vigorously at Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu had no choice but to speed up and walk in front of 001. He couldn't let her continue to show off. What did you call me for? Even though he was speechless and depressed, in front of 001, Xiaoyu still managed to maintain his gentlemanly demeanor. Here's a seat for you. Sit down. Then, 001 packed up her things and left. Xiaoyu didn't even have time to call her. Xiaoyu sat in the seat that still had 001's body temperature. He was full of complicated feelings. What made Xiaoyu almost explode was that in the evening, when he was about to go to the water room to get water, he was told by the supervisor that a little girl wearing glasses had already helped him get it. The middle-aged man looked at him with a look of disdain mixed with envy. Xiaoyu, there were many girls who wore glasses, but Xiaoyu was sure that Wenqing was the only one who would behave like this. Therefore, she didn't give up at all, but changed to another way. Moreover, didn't Wenqing think that she had taken the wrong script? Men and women were reversed. These were all things that Xiaoyu had done for Fei Fei when she was with her. Moreover, Wenqing was much more difficult to deal with than before. She was so slippery that Xiaoyu didn't have a chance to refuse at all. However, 001's big move still attracted the attention of the class supervisor. Of course, under normal circumstances, they didn't care about dating. However, if someone who didn't like Wenqing complained to the teacher, it would be another matter. Therefore, 001 was invited to the office for tea, and many people were gloating. Wenqing, what's the matter with you and Xiaoyu? The class supervisor directly said to 001, some students have reported to me that your behavior has seriously affected their studies and lives. 001 and Error were both stunned. They didn't expect that such a big crime would fall on them. Teacher, I want to pursue Xiaoyu as my boyfriend. 001 was also very straightforward. I see. I will pay attention in the future. Given that 001's good attitude, the class supervisor let her go. Moreover, the little girl's behavior also reminded her of her youth. Therefore, before 001 went out, the class supervisor naughtily winked at her and said, "Come on, it's easy for a girl to pursue a boy. I believe in you." The encouragement of the class supervisor made 001 feel full of strength now, so she took a deep breath and nodded heavily to her. Well, I really know. I will work hard. It was an inspiring scene. The teacher encouraged the student, but the teacher and the student were both very improper. Xiaoyu also knew that 001 was invited to tea by the class supervisor. It had nothing to do with him, and it was not his responsibility. It was all 001's own business, and she should be responsible for her own behavior. However, Xiaoyu felt inexplicably guilty and worried, so he unconsciously walked to the office and lingered there. When 001 came out, Xiaoyu suddenly looked up, and there was a light in his eyes that he didn't even notice. Xiaoyu hesitated for a while, but he still walked toward 001 and frowned. Are you all right? There was concern and worry in Xiaoyu's tone. If a girl really loved him, she would have been ecstatic. However, 001 didn't feel anything. Hearing Xiaoyu's words, she wondered, what's the matter? Sorry, I was delayed for a while. There should be a lot of people in the kitchen, 001 said to Xiaoyu unconsciously, which made Xiaoyu not know what expression he should put on. He only felt that all his worries had been fed to the dogs, and he was really stupid to worry about him. Xiaoyu said nothing to 001 and turned to leave. However, there was occasionally a flash of doubt in his heart. Wenqing's family was ordinary. Where did she get the money Tiansong rose and other different kinds of flowers? This made Xiaoyu inexplicably worried. Even if it was not caused by him, he didn't want someone to do something bad because of him. When Xiaoyu went to the flower shop to buy flowers, he met 001, who was doing a part-time job. Through the pursuit of Xiaoyu, 001 fully understood the importance of money. It was impossible to pursue someone without the support of money. In her previous life, Lin Wanting was not born in a rich and noble family, but his family was also well off. Later, after 001 married Li Mo, she never needed to worry about money. But in this life, Wenqing's family conditions were worse than Lin Wanting's. She could only say that she didn't need to worry about daily life, but she couldn't expect anything else. Even if 001 wanted to do something, it was impossible for her to have money at all. Fortunately, 001 found a part-time job in the flower shop, and she could buy flowers at a discount from the flower shop. 001 had the strongest imitation ability and data integration, so even if she had never worked in a flower shop, as long as she could find the information, it would not be a problem. On this day, 001 was looking after the shop, but she didn't expect that the customer she waited for was Xiaoyu. This made 001's eyes light up. A few days ago, she had been reading love poems in order to pursue someone. At this moment, when she saw Xiaoyu, she opened her mouth and wanted to say a sentence. Fortunately, after being reminded by error, 001 remembered that Xiaoyu didn't like it, so she reluctantly stopped. Xiaoyu, you're here to buy flowers? If you need anything, I can recommend it for you. 001 was familiar with all kinds of flower language and functions, and the shop owner was also very satisfied with her work. Xiaoyu came to buy flowers for his mother, but he couldn't help but be stunned when he saw 001. Unlike her happiness, the word ill-fated relationship flashed in Xiaoyu's mind. However, Xiaoyu didn't show it on his face, and still had a gentle smile. Xiaoyu was a boy who gave people a good impression. His handsome appearance and gentle temperament made people unconsciously stop for him. He calmed down his emotions and tried to act as if nothing had happened when facing 001. Although Xiaoyu felt that what 001 had done during this time was simply the greatest test of his gentlemanly demeanor. Xiaoyu briefly told 001 his requirements, and 001 wrapped the flowers for him. Xiaoyu looked at 001's skillful movements, and he guessed something slightly in his heart, which made him feel a little touched. Okay, here you are. 001 handed the delicate flowers to Xiaoyu. Just as he was about to leave after paying the bill, he was stopped by a voice. This made Xiaoyu raise his head and look at her in confusion, and a bad feeling flashed in his heart unconsciously. Xiaoyu, this is for you. 001 handed the platycodon flower in his hand to Xiaoyu. Sincere and unchanging love. Xiaoyu also understood the language of flowers. 001 looked at Xiaoyu with an indescribable expression. It started again. Xiaoyu couldn't help but want to close his eyes. He didn't know why the other party was so persistent. Thank you, but I don't need it. Xiaoyu refused 001 again, although he felt that the other party didn't seem to understand. 001 was not disappointed. She looked at him with bright eyes and asked, "What do you like?" "I'll give it to you." This made Xiaoyu sigh helplessly. "I don't need you to give me anything I like. I won't accept it." Xiaoyu's words were so clear, which was even a little embarrassing for the girl, but 001 didn't feel it at all. 001 sighed and clenched her fist. "I see. I will try my best to let you accept my gift." Chapter 32. Xiaoyu. What else could he say? It seemed that no matter what he said, it would be like playing the lute to a cow. Xiaoyu felt extremely helpless, like 001, who stubbornly approached him with unknown intentions and even did something that troubled him. He should be extremely disgusted. Although Xiaoyu had always been kind to people and rarely felt disgusted with them. However, Xiaoyu was also a principled person. Being a gentleman to girls did not mean that he was weak or had tender feelings for them. However, Xiaoyu was very sharp. He could tell that 001 did not really like him. He could also see the other party's pure heart. Her eyes were so clean and clear as water, they did not carry any ugly desires or thoughts. It was like a child making trouble for no reason. Instead of treating 001 as a woman with ulterior motives, Xiaoyu naturally treated the two in a different way. Xiaoyu even had the thought of giving up on herself. As long as she was happy, she would naturally ignore her. However, 001 really did not see through Xiaoyu's thoughts at all. It really made people feel helpless. And when Xiaoyu was practicing swimming in the swimming pool, he actually had a leg cramp. At that moment, Xiaoyu wondered if he had been so angry with Wenqing recently that he had become muddle-headed. Moreover, he was a strong swimmer. If he died because of a leg cramp while swimming, it would really make people laugh their heads off. However, even so, Xiaoyu still could not control his body. It was also getting more and more dangerous. Until there was a splash, someone jumped down and swam towards him. This made Xiaoyu so relieved that he fainted. 001 was informed by the error that the mission target's life was in danger, so she immediately rushed over. She could still feel this. 001 carried Xiaoyu to the swimming pool and put him on the ground. This is the information I searched for about artificial respiration for you. Do it for Xiaoyu. 001 immediately collected the data and did it for Xiaoyu. 001's ability to learn and imitate was very strong, so even if it was her first time, she did it very well. Xiaoyu soon felt something. He felt the soft and moist touch on his lips. This caused Xiaoyu to open her eyes in shock. Xiaoyu saw 001, who had already taken off his glasses. This was the first time he had seen Wen Qing's face without glasses. Without her glasses, Wen Qing's face looked even more delicate and childish, but her eyes were really beautiful, dark and moist. However, this was not the main point. The main point was that her lips were touching his. Of course, Xiaoyu realized that she was performing artificial respiration on herself. This was a normal medical measure. However, if it was done by a pretty girl, it would inevitably make one's heart flutter. If an uncle did this, he would probably be traumatized. Xiaoyu had just opened his eyes and woken up. He did not have much strength in his body. Therefore, what came into view was 001's focused expression with her eyes closed. In fact, it made Xiaoyu's heart tremble for a moment. Her body was close to his, and he could feel the softness of her body. As he could see, Wen Qing's figure was not very good among girls. However, the touch that was different from that of a boy and the fragrance on her body were still constantly eroding Xiaoyu. 001's breath sprayed on Xiaoyu's skin. It was a little itchy, as if it made his heart feel strange. Looking at 001's face at such a close distance, Xiaoyu sighed that her skin was even better than before. Until 001 felt that Xiaoyu was almost well, she left him, which made Xiaoyu feel lost for a moment. Xiaoyu, are you okay? 001 helped Xiaoyu up from the ground. She reached out and patted him gently on the back, letting Xiaoyu spit out all the water he was choking. After coughing for a while, Xiaoyu felt much better. He pushed away 001's hand that was holding him. I'm much better. Thank you. After all, Wen Qing saved his life. No matter how speechless he was before, Xiaoyu's gratitude at this moment was sincere. You're welcome. If you agree to be my girlfriend, that's all, 001 said very naturally. Xiaoyu, after a short silence, Xiaoyu suddenly raised his head and said, Are you serious? Originally, 001 said it casually, but when Xiaoyu asked her like this, she suddenly became quick-witted and said, Yes. You should repay me with your body for saving my life, right? 001 said to Xiaoyu seriously. At the same time, she couldn't help but praise herself secretly. Fortunately, she remembered such a difficult sentence on earth. Xiaoyu had just recovered, but at this time, he couldn't help coughing heavily. Wen Qing, you have to know that a good girl shouldn't be forced to repay kindness. Xiaoyu also said to 001 seriously. Moreover, feelings can't be forced, let alone treated as a child's play. With that, Xiaoyu's expression became more and more serious. It was because he took feelings seriously that Xiaoyu couldn't tolerate 001's approach and attitude. Yes. I know. 001 replied with a straight face. If I take feelings seriously and work harder to be good to you, will you let me be your girlfriend? 001 asked Xiaoyu expectantly. Xiaoyu. That subtle feeling of reversal of men and women came again. 001 looked like a boy who was struggling to pursue his beloved girl. In order to get her consent, he would say all kinds of sweet words. Although this was different from what Xiaoyu originally expected, 001 always made him feel a kind of feeling of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. But this was not necessarily bad. It might be another way for him to get out. Therefore, after contemplating, Xiaoyu said to 001, Do you really want to be my girlfriend? 001 nodded heavily. Xiaoyu also said very simply, Well, as long as you are willing. Xiaoyu told 001 his purpose and situation truthfully. Of course, 001 agreed without hesitation. In this way, Xiaoyu and 001 became a new boyfriend and girlfriend. Xiaoyu was also willing to try to date 001. 001 helped Xiaoyu up from the ground and held his shoulder all the way to the dormitory. In fact, with 001's strength, it was easy to carry Xiaoyu over. But 001 also knew where the limit of Wenqing's strength was, so it could not do that. However, Xiaoyu looked down at 001 in his arm. At this time, he found that her body was really petite. Xiaoyu was more than 1.8 meters tall. He was really tall and handsome. Wherever he went, he was a beautiful scenery. His previous girlfriend, Fei Fei, was the same. She was gorgeous, curvy, and had long legs. Wenqing was estimated to be in her early 160 centimeters tall. Before, Xiaoyu completely ignored her because of 001's character. Perhaps it was because she had become his girlfriend, although the way she did it was a little funny. However, Xiaoyu had always been serious about love. Since she had become his girlfriend, his attitude and way of treating her were naturally different. Looking at 001's wet hair sticking to his cheek, Xiaoyu reached out and gently pulled it behind his ear. This made 001 look up at him in surprise. He didn't know when 001 had put on that pair of glasses again. This made Xiaoyu feel a little regretful. In fact, he liked her eyes very much. Xiaoyu felt that the reason why he could tolerate 001's nonsense before was because of those clean and clear eyes. Xiaoyu smiled gently at 001. This was not etiquette, but even his eyes had that kind of softness. Even 001 felt the obvious change in Xiaoyu's attitude. Of course, 001 didn't feel flattered at all. She was also very calm and composed. This caused the smile in Xiaoyu's eyes to deepen. He asked with concern, "Are you tired? Do you want to put me down and have a rest?" Xiaoyu considered the physical strength of an ordinary girl like Wenqing. She had just gone into the water to save him, and now she had to support a big boy all the way for such a long time. 001 shook her head and said, "Fortunately, your body can't get cold now. You should take a hot bath and lie in bed to rest." The idea that human beings were fragile was deeply rooted in 001's heart. Xiaoyu undoubtedly deepened 001's understanding of this. If she didn't pay attention, his life would be in danger. In the future, she was afraid that she would pay attention to him all the time. 001 searched for ways to deal with drowning on the earth. She felt that Xiaoyu's body should take a good rest. 001's words warmed Xiaoyu's heart, and the way he looked at 001 became more gentle. "Don't you really need to rest?" Xiaoyu wanted to support his body as much as possible to reduce the burden of 001. 001 looked straight ahead and said without hesitation, "Your body is important." Xiaoyu also felt that it was funny and helpless. She was always so sincere that it touched people, even though she looked strange. Xiaoyu didn't say anything more, but the atmosphere around him became more gentle. When Xiaoyu was sent downstairs, it was not convenient for 001 to enter the male dormitory, although she didn't care at all. At this time, 001 remembered that a girlfriend should pay attention to her image in front of her boyfriend, although she didn't know if it was too late to save him. 001 was worried and carefully told Xiaoyu many things to pay attention to, like an old worried mother. Xiaoyu was not impatient at all. He kept nodding and listening with a smile. Although this kind of thing was usually told by a worried boyfriend to his girlfriend. However, 001 had always put herself in the role of taking care of others. And she also promised Xiaoyu that in order to become his girlfriend, she would work hard. Before 001 left, she seemed to think of something. "By the way, this is what a girlfriend must do." After Xiaoyu reacted, 001 walked up to him, stood on tiptoe and kissed him gently on the cheek. Then she turned and left. Xiaoyu was really stunned for a moment, and then he touched his cheek where 001 had kissed. Xiaoyu suddenly lowered his head and couldn't help laughing, which made his roommate who came down to pick him up think that his brain had been soaked in water. After 001 went back, she began to collect information seriously. She always did what she said. She didn't lie to Xiaoyu. She said that she would be better to him after becoming his girlfriend, and she would do it. Therefore, 001 began to prepare a lunch of love for her boyfriend. 001 had always been good at doing other things. She thought cooking was very simple for her. At least, 001 was indeed very delicate and beautiful. Then she wrapped it and went to deliver food to Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu was lying in bed and resting, but others could come to visit him. When Xiaoyu heard that 001 had come to visit him, his eyes were unconsciously full of smiles. They had just separated, and she came so soon. Seeing the lunchbox in 001's hand, Xiaoyu's smile in his eyes was more intense. Qing, you're here again so soon. Are you here to deliver food to me? Xiaoyu's soft voice, with his unique gentleness, made people's hearts itch. Seeing Xiaoyu's appearance, 001 couldn't help but feel moved, and then her actions became more gentle. She nodded to Xiaoyu and softened her movements. From 001's body language, Xiaoyu felt a little funny and moved. It seemed that she always gave him this feeling. I made it myself. Have a taste. 001 untied the lunchbox and handed it to Xiaoyu. After hearing 001's words, Xiaoyu looked at her in surprise. Nowadays, most of the girls didn't do housework. They were very spoiled. There were very few who had cooking skills and were willing to cook. Xiaoyu felt that 001's kindness was precious and worth cherishing. No matter whether it was delicious or not, he should give her face and finish it. Seeing the expectation in 001's eyes, the smile on his face became wider, and he said softly, okay. When Xiaoyu was about to take the chopsticks, 001 had already sent the food to his mouth. This made Xiaoyu stunned. What was she doing? Was she going to feed herself? Xiaoyu suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. He had always been able to deal with everything with ease. Even if his ex-girlfriend broke up with him and he was very sad and painful, he still had a good demeanor. This was also what Fei Fei hated. She knew that he was sad, and she could feel it clearly. But Xiaoyu would never lose his composure for her. If he was hysterical and lost his demeanor, she might stay for him. Xiaoyu thought that 001's action didn't seem to be too much. If a boyfriend and a girlfriend refused this kind of intimacy, what was the point? But in the end, Xiaoyu still felt embarrassed, and his ears were a little red. But Xiaoyu tried his best to ignore this kind of uneasiness. He pretended to be calm and bowed his head to eat all the food in the spoon in 001's hand. Then, there was no then. Xiaoyu couldn't think so much at all, because he fell down. This shocked 001. Xiaoyu actually fainted, and she quickly sent him to the hospital. Xiaoyu was lying on the big bed in the hospital, and his face was lifeless. He didn't expect that the legendary dark cuisine that could poison people to death was actually true. He was probably the first person in history to go to the hospital after eating a bite of his girlfriend's love lunch. Xiaoyu couldn't help but want to cover his face. Why did he agree to be Wen Qing's girlfriend at that time? Was he really out of his mind, and the cramp in his leg had transferred to his brain? 001 was also greatly shocked, and she couldn't accept this fact at all. It was obvious that it was very easy to make, and she also strictly followed the instructions without making any mistakes, but why did the taste become like this? In the previous world, Lin Wanning was a delicate girl who did not do housework. She was a gentle lady with a strong scholarly aura, and she would never be stained with the smell of cooking oil in the kitchen. Therefore, in the previous world, 001 had never cooked at all, but Liamo specially learned a few skills for her, and occasionally cooked for her at home. Usually, they would go to their parents' place to eat, or go out to eat, or hire hourly workers to cook. In this world, 001 was rarely so excited, but she didn't expect to encounter a Waterloo. Could it be that the ingredients on Earth, after passing through the hands of the people on planet Araga, had some kind of mutation? In short, Xiaoyu looked at his girlfriend sitting next to him with a blank face, and he secretly made up his mind that he would never let her touch the things in the kitchen in the future. Not to mention that he wanted to live a few more years, even if it was to save his stomach. It was obvious that he was lying on the big bed sick, but why did Wenqing look like she was more shocked than him? Looking at 001, who was sitting next to him and hadn't come back to his senses, Xiaoyu suddenly wanted to laugh. That's right, probably normal people can't accept that the food they made turned out to have a poison effect. Xiaoyu felt that he was Wenqing's boyfriend. Although he was also a victim, he couldn't be so unkind to laugh out loud. Moreover, as her boyfriend, he should comfort her. Chapter 33. Although this thought might be a little scary compared to what had happened before, however, the plot of a hero saving a beauty was actually very touching for both men and women. That was why he was confused and dated Wenqing for a while. However, no matter how strong Xiaoyu felt at this time, Wenqing was his girlfriend. She was the girlfriend he had chosen. No matter how much bitterness he had, he should swallow it and treat her well. Xiaoyu couldn't help but reach out and gently caress 001's head. This finally brought her back to her senses. 001's clear eyes were full of confusion at this time. Even Xiaoyu could see some grievances on her face. Wenqing's emotions had always been very easy to understand, even though she had never played her cards according to common sense. Xiaoyu held back with difficulty and told himself not to laugh at his girlfriend. It's okay, I'll cook for you in the future. Suddenly, these gentle words came out of Xiaoyu's mouth. After saying it, Xiaoyu himself was also stunned, but when he thought about it carefully, he felt that it made sense. Cooking or something, for his own good, it was better for him to do it. Anyway, his girlfriend also needed to be doted on, so it was better not to let Wenqing cook anymore. Xiaoyu's words also stunned 001, she didn't react. She said to Xiaoyu, but, I said that I would treat you well. 001 thought that this was what she should do, how could she let Xiaoyu do it? 001's words made Xiaoyu stunned again, how could he let Xiaoyu do it? His expression also became subtle uncontrollably. Xiaoyu still didn't know why Wenqing did such a thing, because she didn't like it. But to say that she had other motives, Xiaoyu felt that this word was too much to describe her. However, Wenqing was really trying her best to be good to him, which made Xiaoyu's feelings very complicated. Wenqing always made him feel funny, but he couldn't help but feel touched. Xiaoyu took a deep look at 001. Her lips curled up slightly, revealing a gentle smile. He said softly to 001, I can't let you do it alone. Feelings are mutual. I should also treat you well. Anyway, 001 didn't understand these things. Since Xiaoyu said so, then he would do it. Since Xiaoyu wants to cook, I will let him do it. There was nothing to argue about. Besides this, it wasn't like she couldn't treat him well in other areas. After figuring it out, 001 looked at Xiaoyu with sparkling eyes, but it made his heart skip a beat. 001's expression was too easy to understand. Her whole body was filled with the words, as long as you're happy, to Xiaoyu. This was like a helpless boyfriend doting on his unreasonable girlfriend. Xiaoyu, who was being harassed by his unreasonable girlfriend, was speechless. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and told himself not to take it too seriously. Anyway, before he dated Wenqing, he already knew what kind of person she was, didn't he? It was better to adjust and teach her slowly. Thinking of flirting and teaching his girlfriend, Xiaoyu's blood suddenly boiled. Maybe there was a kind of nurturing plot, whether it was a man or a woman. Otherwise, Xiaoyu had to be glad that his body was good enough. He was afraid that he would really be driven to death by Wenqing. Xiaoyu was discharged from the hospital after a few days of rest. Of course, the real reason for his hospitalization was covered up. Xiaoyu didn't want to be surrounded by his roommates at all. Therefore, it was said that Xiaoyu almost drowned in the swimming pool last time, and his body hadn't recovered yet. After analyzing some of the deeds and information on the earth, 001 felt that Xiaoyu was really a good person because he protected Wenqing's reputation. Moreover, 001 also came to the conclusion that what Xiaoyu did was what a good boyfriend should do, and he should learn from him. Although they were still in the period of getting used to each other, 001 and Xiaoyu were brave enough to try. Since they had become a couple, they should do all the things that a couple should do. For example, the most ordinary date, eating and watching a movie. On the weekend, 001 and Xiaoyu would do it together. When Xiaoyu arrived at the cinema, 001 had already lined up to buy popcorn and drinks and was waiting for him. This was what a boyfriend should do. There was nothing wrong with it except that the gender was wrong. Xiaoyu. He took the things in 001's hands with an indescribable expression. Several men next to him looked at Xiaoyu with disgust, but the girls only looked at him with contempt. Xiaoyu glanced at 001 with a straight face. Well, Wenqing didn't seem to notice anything at all. 001 looked at the other people around, and then she also learned from the other girls. She put her hand in Xiaoyu's arm and took him into the cinema. Xiaoyu looked down at the little hand in his arm and couldn't help but sigh helplessly. Forget it, I'll talk to her later. Although at this moment, Xiaoyu felt like he had dug a hole and buried himself in it, he still felt like he had dug a hole to bury himself. Because at that time, he didn't know why he agreed to the condition that Wenqing should treat him well and let her be his girlfriend. She was now seriously fulfilling what he had promised. There was nothing wrong with it. It was him who had a problem. Xiaoyu didn't need to tell Wenqing about it. He could already imagine the other party's reaction. This made Xiaoyu stunned, and then he couldn't help but laugh in a low voice. He didn't expect that he knew Wenqing so well now. What made Xiaoyu feel even more terrible was that when he thought of her, he actually felt that she was quite scary. Although there was a saying that beauty was in the eye of the beholder, Xiaoyu felt that it was not only absurd but also scary to use this saying on himself and Wenqing. Xiaoyu shook his head and immersed himself in the plot of the movie, not thinking about these trivial things. Since Wenqing confessed to him, his life was always troubled by some inexplicable things, which made him no longer have the time to think about his ex-girlfriend and sadness. To some extent, Wenqing had helped him get out of it. 001 was sitting next to Xiaoyu. She was seriously drinking Coke and eating popcorn while staring at the big screen. 001 was curious about everything on the earth and was willing to try it, although she had done this kind of thing with Liamo. But it was different from the entertainment on planet Araga. 001 was still very interested in it. 001 suddenly thought of what she and Liamo did when watching the movie. They were also a couple, just like her and Xiaoyu. This made 001 come back to her senses from the movie. She looked around at the people watching the movie. Sure enough, with 001's eyesight, she could see clearly even in dark corners. Because many people were not watching the movie at all. Most of them were young couples, and they couldn't help kissing each other. Thinking of this, 001's eyes fell on Xiaoyu's lips and stared at him. The shape of Xiaoyu's lips was very beautiful, and the color of his lips was very light, as if even here revealed a kind of elegance. Xiaoyu was originally immersed in the plot of the movie, but she couldn't ignore the burning eyes of 001 next to her. What's wrong with you? Xiaoyu turned her head and asked doubtfully. However, 001 looked straight at Xiaoyu's lips and asked, "Do you want to try?" 001 pointed to the people around them, wanting to say something, but stopped on second thought. Xiaoyu looked in the direction he was pointing and saw a couple kissing passionately. Xiaoyu. Cough, cough, cough. He almost vomited the popcorn and Coke he had just eaten. Wenqing's appearance was too sudden. He didn't expect Wenqing to be like this. Although Xiaoyu had long known that Wenqing was not a rigid nerd, nor was she as quiet and shy as others had thought before. Although Wenqing was still dressed like a standard good student with a pair of lousy glasses and a double braid, she was still dressed like a good student. Especially when she was standing next to Xiaoyu, the scene didn't match at all. At least from the outside, it seemed that Xiaoyu, the flower, was inserted into 001, the cow dung. This made other people who knew Xiaoyu and 001, a couple, couldn't help but think, do boys look at their girlfriends these days? Do they look at their inner qualities? Those who knew about Xiaoyu and Fei Fei were also muttering in their hearts. Was it because of his ex-girlfriend that Xiaoyu learned his lesson and no longer looked at others' faces? But wouldn't he be overreacting? In today's society, there were many girls who were both beautiful and talented. Wen Qing's appearance was originally not as good as others, but she didn't know how to dress up. Xiaoyu didn't object, which in 001's opinion was acquiescence. Thinking of the things that she had done with Li Mo before, she actually liked and looked forward to it very much, so she took the initiative in this regard. 001 directly reached out and grabbed Xiaoyu's collar, and was about to kiss him. 001 was so aggressive that Xiaoyu couldn't stop her at all. Then, tragedy happened again. Of course, it was still on Xiaoyu's body. 001 was so eager that she forgot that she was wearing a pair of glasses on the bridge of her nose. As a result, not only did she not manage to kiss Xiaoyu, she even pretended to bleed from his nose. Xiaoyu, why did she have so many difficulties when she had a girlfriend? She was simply using her life to date Wen Qing. 001 was also stunned. The men on Earth were so fragile. She should have taken good care of them. In the previous world, 001 felt that she was very good to Li Mo, but what was going on in this world? Why was she always hurting Xiaoyu? 001 couldn't tolerate this, and she also felt very guilty to Xiaoyu, although she didn't understand this kind of emotion. Xiaoyu covered his nose, but there was still blood flowing from between his fingers. 001 hurriedly took a tissue to help stop the bleeding. Naturally, they couldn't watch the movie anymore. With great difficulty, the two of them dealt with the accident in a hurry. Xiaoyu and 001's mood was very complicated. Especially Xiaoyu, he didn't know what expression to use to face his new girlfriend. He was probably the first person in history to cause him to bleed just because his girlfriend wanted to kiss him. Xiaoyu suddenly found that since he started dating Wen Qing, he might have broken the record and created many historical firsts. This was not worth being happy at all, okay? In particular, Xiaoyu had a hunch that as long as he continued to date Wen Qing, this would not be the last time. Xiaoyu took a deep breath, suppressed the churning emotions in his stomach, and told himself that Wen Qing didn't do it on purpose. Looking at 001 sitting aside with his head down and not daring to look at him, Xiaoyu sighed helplessly, but his heart did soften. She was still a little girl. Although Wen Qing was at most 1 or 2 years younger than him, she gave Xiaoyu a very strong feeling. Therefore, Xiaoyu directly reached out and gently held Wen Qing's face, turning her to look at him. He lowered his head and approached her, with a slight smile in his eyes, and his words were very soft. Well, I want to try. Xiaoyu's words disappeared in their lips. At this time, Xiaoyu's expression and words seemed to be glowing, and it was so gentle that it made people's hearts ripple. Xiaoyu didn't want to have intimate actions with Wen Qing so soon. It should be said that he was not ready yet. Before he completely forgot his ex-girlfriend in his heart, Xiaoyu didn't want to do anything to Wen Qing. Otherwise, it would seem that he was a hooligan, thinking about one girl in his heart, but doing that to another girl. Therefore, Xiaoyu felt that when he finally got over it, he and Wen Qing could go further, which was his respect for them. But now, when Xiaoyu looked at Wen Qing's appearance, he didn't know whether it was to comfort her or for other reasons. In short, he impulsively did such a thing. In fact, Xiaoyu didn't think so much at that time. He just followed his heart, because that was what he wanted to do. When Xiaoyu touched 001's soft and delicate lips, his mind went blank, and he couldn't think of anything. In his heart, there was only the touch of his own lips. Although Xiaoyu had only had one girlfriend, and they had not been intimate many times, Xiaoyu was not ignorant in this aspect. However, compared with 001, who had been taught by Li Mo, Xiaoyu was still too inexperienced in this aspect. No matter what kind of thing 001 had done before that made him speechless, Xiaoyu also knew that the other party had a blank in the emotional aspect. Therefore, Xiaoyu just gently rubbed his lips against 001's, even with a sense of comfort and pity. He didn't go deeper, because Xiaoyu was worried that 001 would be scared. Xiaoyu's behavior did make 001 a little surprised, so her eyes widened slightly. However, the moist and soft touch on her lips evoked 001's memory in this aspect, which made her heart itch. However, this level of Xiaoyu's level made 001 dissatisfied. After all, the current 001 was no longer a noob in this aspect. This level was not enough to satisfy her. Therefore, 001 simply took the initiative and hugged Xiaoyu's head, pressing him tightly to himself. 001's action made Xiaoyu's eyes widen unconsciously. He was so stunned that he forgot to resist. Then, he was kissed by 001's kissing method, which he learned from Liamo. Chapter 34. 001 took care of every part of Xiaoyu's lips. This kind of itchy feeling made Xiaoyu's lips unconsciously open slightly. Taking advantage of this opportunity, 001 stuck its tongue into Zhang Han's mouth. This made Xiaoyu's eyes widen even more. He couldn't help but let out a moan. However, this made 001 hug him even tighter and wander around his territory wantonly in his mouth. 001 stirred Tianshi in Xiaoyu's mouth. How could he not have any reaction? That kind of numbing feeling seemed to spread from his lips and mouth to the bottom of his heart, making Xiaoyu's body seem to become hotter and hotter. Xiaoyu instinctively responded to 001. He also reached out and hugged 001's head tightly. Then, their tongues were inextricably entwined. Like fish out of water, they desperately sucked the saliva from each other's mouth. The ambiguous and loud kissing sound rang in their ears, but this only made their kiss even more intense. In the end, Xiaoyu and 001 separated, panting. Of course. 001 simulated Wenqing's body data. Otherwise, with the strength of 001's body, she wouldn't have felt tired at all. When their lips separated, they even made a loud sound. There were still ambiguous silver threads stuck to each other's lips. Xiaoyu and 001's lips were red and swollen and numb. One could tell how passionate their kiss was just now. Xiaoyu saw the silver threads, and 001's eyes were watery and filled with love after her red lips had been fiercely kissed. His ears were completely red, and a little blush spread uncontrollably on his fair cheeks. Xiaoyu's eyes dodged a few times. He didn't dare to look at 001 at all. It was too late. At this time, Xiaoyu's heart was also beating fast. Oh my god. He didn't know why he did such a thing. It shouldn't have happened, but just now, Xiaoyu was indeed addicted to it and kissed 001 in a daze. Xiaoyu couldn't help but cover her face. A kiss was a kiss, but it was still a passionate and deep kiss. This was not a simple or warm kiss at all. Instead, it was filled with passion and an indescribable tension between a man and a woman. In particular, Xiaoyu had originally wanted to train his girlfriend, but Wenqing seemed to have trained him first. Moreover, Xiaoyu turns to look at 001 in a strange way. Why is Wenqing so good at kissing? Not only was she not awkward, she seemed to be more used to it than him. Xiaoyu wasn't a male chauvinist who required his girlfriend to be pure white. However, it was normal for Xiaoyu to feel disappointed, especially since Wenqing had never had a boyfriend before. However, Xiaoyu felt that this question was a little difficult to ask, especially when it was directed at Wenqing. It seemed even stranger. However, Xiaoyu still couldn't suppress this kind of mentality, so he asked 001 with difficulty. Have you kissed anyone before? 001 nodded to Xiaoyu honestly. She had forgotten that Wenqing had never had this kind of experience. This made Xiaoyu's eyes darken. Is it your ex-boyfriend? Xiaoyu's voice became even more obscure. He felt that he was really bad. What did he care about here? Didn't he also have an ex-girlfriend? In today's society, it was very normal. Xiaoyu's question made 001 come back to her senses. She blinked her eyes. She seemed to have said something serious just now. Therefore, she remedied in time, no. 001 felt that she was right. Li Mo was never her ex-boyfriend. He should be her dead husband. Xiaoyu didn't know why he breathed a sigh of relief. Then he heard 001 say, "I just kissed a man." Xiaoyu didn't know what expression to put on his face. It seemed that he should be relieved, but there was a subtle feeling of discomfort in his heart. Xiaoyu exhaled. Wen Qing really could make him so confused every time. He didn't know what to do. However, since they both had a past, the past could only be the past. They should start over. Therefore, Xiaoyu gently held 001's hand, and gradually inserted his fingers into the gap between her fingers, interlocking with hers. This made 001 look up at him, but Xiaoyu smiled gently at her. "Please take care of me in the future, girlfriend." Since it was like this with 001, Xiaoyu felt that his original plan to take things slowly had been broken. So be it. He didn't want to think about Fei Fei in the future. He just wanted to fill his mind and heart with Wen Qing. Xiaoyu lowered his head and kissed 001's forehead gently, which made 001 stunned. She keenly perceived the change in Xiaoyu. He seemed to have made a decision just now. However, 001 was not a person who would care about these things. She only knew that she should be Xiaoyu's girlfriend during this period of time, and then wait for Fei Fei to come back and break up with Xiaoyu. This familiar plot made 001 and Error, who had experienced the failure in the previous world, tremble in their hearts. This time, the breakup should be smooth, right? 001 asked tentatively to Error. How could Error know? Of course, it hoped that it would be smooth. Therefore, it comforted 001, it should be. After all, this time you spent a lot of effort to maintain the original plot and become Xiaoyu's girlfriend. In the previous world, it was an accident. Li Mo is Li Mo, and Xiaoyu is Xiaoyu. He will definitely break up with you for Fei Fei. Error's comfort made 001 breathe a sigh of relief. It was true that the failure of the task in the previous world had caused a serious psychological shadow to 001. It was really surprising that Xiaoyu and 001 were dating in this way. Although Wen Qing was a good student, and her reputation was naturally much better than Fei Fei's, Wen Qing was a good wife and a loving mother in men's dreams. However, Wen Qing was a good wife and loving mother in every man's dreams, while Fei Fei was a seductress, the lover of the masses. The man praised Wen Qing and despised Fei Fei, but in reality, weren't they all thinking about that beauty? Fei Fei always wore exquisite makeup and dressed fashionably and beautifully. She wore high heels, and wherever she passed, there was a fragrant wind, which was very attractive. He had such an ex-girlfriend, but his current girlfriend was such a simple village belle in the 1980s. Fortunately, Xiaoyu had adapted well. He didn't have much to say about his girlfriend's outfit. Wen Qing could dress up however she liked. He didn't mind. Even when Xiaoyu and Wen Qing walked on campus, because of their appearance, they often attracted the pity of others. When Xiaoyu and Fei Fei were together, they were not a beautiful vase. How could they be a match for Xiaoyu, the school hunk? When Wen Qing was together, she was a bookworm. How could she be a match for their talented and good-looking Prince Charming? Alas, if Wen Qing's brain and Fei Fei's appearance were combined, she would be a match for Xiaoyu. After all, Xiaoyu was such a person with both talent and beauty. 001 was not a person who would care about other people's eyes, but Xiaoyu knew that girls were sensitive and fragile. Therefore, he always unconsciously helped 001 block other people's eyes from looking at her. Xiaoyu didn't want 001 to feel uncomfortable. He took 001 to a hidden place in the woods, looked at 001 worriedly and asked, "Qing Qing, are you okay? You can tell me anything." Xiaoyu looked at 001 encouragingly, and then he held 001's little hand tightly. This made 001 look at him in confusion, but her eyes were still clear and calm. This made Xiaoyu feel relieved. He reached out and gently stroked 001's hair, feeling that he was thinking too much. However, after hearing Xiaoyu's words, 001 also thought of something, which made her eyes fall on Xiaoyu's attractive lips. When she was with Liemo, 001 didn't need to worry about things like kissing. They were so affectionate that it was hard to tell how intimate they were. But obviously, Xiaoyu was not like this. He and 001 were different from Liemo from the beginning. However, 001 liked that kind of intimacy very much. Perhaps it was because of Liemo's teaching. In 001's understanding, boyfriends were used to do this kind of thing. Therefore, if Xiaoyu didn't take the initiative, it would be fine. If she wanted it, she could take it directly. Therefore, although 001 didn't understand the meaning of Xiaoyu's words, she still followed his words and said, "Just kiss me." His girlfriend stood in front of him with a sincere face. She raised her tender little face and asked for a kiss. This was indeed a great stimulation for Xiaoyu. He coughed uncomfortably, but his heart was beating wildly because of 001's words. His breathing was rapid and he couldn't calm down. Xiaoyu was a little shy, but he was a little happy because of his girlfriend's honesty and clinginess. Therefore, Xiaoyu's eyes flickered slightly, but he still took a deep breath, lowered his head to approach 001, and kissed her lips. As soon as they touched that softness, both of them couldn't help but sigh with satisfaction and comfort. The kiss between Xiaoyu and 001 had always been like dry wood meeting a raging fire. It was not something that could be solved by simply lips touching. Therefore, when 001's hands were around Xiaoyu's neck, Xiaoyu couldn't help but hold 001's waist tightly and hug her to himself. In the end, Xiaoyu couldn't control himself and pressed 001 against a big tree trunk behind them. After kissing 001 reluctantly for a long time, Xiaoyu finally let go of 001's delicate lips while panting. However, Xiaoyu still pressed 001 against the tree. He did not leave her. Xiaoyu's forehead was gently pressed against 001's forehead. On her forehead, he looked intoxicated, as if he hadn't recovered from the passionate kiss just now. Xiaoyu's fair face was flushed red, making him look even more beautiful and pleasing to the eye. However, Xiaoyu's expression was very happy. He couldn't help but close his eyes and laugh in a low voice. Until Xiaoyu raised his hand and stroked 001's cheek all the way. He lovingly rubbed her hot skin with his fingertips. Xiaoyu gazed at 001 with an unconscious tenderness and gentleness in her eyes. His expression became more and more gentle, and he couldn't help but lower his head and kiss 001's red and swollen lips. "Ching Ching, I really like it." Xiaoyu couldn't help sighing at 001. However, he also thought of some other things in his heart, such as Wen Qing's figure. Just now, when Xiaoyu pressed against Wen Qing's body, it was soft, but there was really nothing to look at. This made Xiaoyu's mind slightly moved. It just happened that he promised Wen Qing to take over the cooking, so he often made milk and papaya stew for 001 to eat. When kissing just now, Xiaoyu naturally fully learned the previous lesson and took off 001's glasses in advance. In order to avoid the previous tragedy, no matter how confused he was, he couldn't forget this point, although it was a little disappointing. 001, who was not wearing glasses, fully showed Wen Qing's delicate little face. However, the other party's skin was really good, flawless, like the cream of snow, which made Xiaoyu unable to put it down. He inevitably began to fantasize about his girlfriend. The touch of her hands and face was so good, he didn't know if other parts of her body were the same. Xiaoyu vaguely glanced at a relatively small part of 001's body, and his mind couldn't help floating. Of course, 001 didn't feel anything, but Xiaoyu's cheeks and ears were red, and he didn't dare to look at her at all. No matter how indescribable 001 was sometimes, she still had one advantage, which was that she was obedient. When Xiaoyu pretended to be calm on the surface, but in fact, his heart was beating fast and his ears were red, he took the papaya soup for 001 to drink. She didn't ask anything and directly drank it up. Chapter 35. Sweet little angels. Lin Wanting was usually very dependable. But sometimes, he seemed to be brainless. Especially when Li Mo thought of Lin Wanting running out and being seen by others like this, he felt even more uncomfortable. Therefore, Li Mo hugged Lin Wanting tightly without thinking, wanting to hide her tightly in his arms. He didn't want others to peek at him. Li Mo's heart raced, especially when he saw Lin Wanting's innocent and unrepentant expression. He was about to be driven mad by her. Li Mo grabbed Lin Wanting's hand tightly. He glared at him fiercely, as if he wanted to eat him alive. To be honest, 001 was really frightened by Li Mo's fierce appearance, so he had never been like this before. The handsome and indifferent young man seemed to have suddenly turned into a hungry wolf. Of course, 001 was not afraid. She was confident that even if Li Mo really turned into a wolf, he would not be eaten by him. Therefore, 001 was still very calm. Li Mo, let me go. Something happened outside. 001 just calmly narrated this fact to Li Mo, without any emotion. Li Mo was infuriated by 001. His eyes were bloodshot. They couldn't help but sneer. Lin Wanting, you've successfully driven me crazy. You win. When 001 felt confused, after Li Mo said this, he sealed her mouth fiercely. Li Mo said that the long period of suppressed desire and anger had created this passionate and fierce kiss. His skills are really rusty. But passion was enough to make up for it. Just like that, he bumped into 001's mouth. He forcefully curled his tongue around hers. They made loud clicking sounds of kissing. This voice stimulated Li Mo's inner desire and made his body burn hotter and hotter. Li Mo became more and more addicted to it. He couldn't help but hug 001 tightly, constantly adjusting his posture and angle to make it easier for him to kiss her. 001's eyes widened in disbelief. She had long been stunned. This human behavior was attributed to reproduction, which meant that Li Mo wanted to have children with her. 001. She was frightened at last, and her and Error's dull and thick nerves were aware that the script in their hands was not quite right. Of course, what they were playing was a crush. The target of the mission wanted to have children with her, so how could it be considered a crush? Because of this, 001 was unable to move for a long time, allowing Li Mo to do whatever he wanted to her. Li Mo held 001's waist tightly with one hand and her neck with the other, pressing her against him. Li Mo's mouth wrapped around her pink lips. He sucked and kissed them hard, and his breathing became more and more rapid. After a long while, Li Mo reluctantly let go of 001 while panting. However, his lips couldn't help but linger on the corner of her lips, and he couldn't help but peck at it. Li Mo's eyes were still red from the passion from before, but he was suppressing it with all his might. Just like the surging desire in his body, it couldn't be quenched by a mere kiss. However, Li Mo's face was flushed and his breath was hot. He still retained his clarity and sanity. Li Mo's eyes softened when he saw that 001 hadn't reacted yet. His heart was filled with love. He couldn't help kissing 001's fair and smooth face. His lips caressed her skin and he said softly, "Wan Wan, let's be together." Li Mo's kiss itself explained a lot of problems. It represented his compromise with Lin Wanting. He finally didn't want to escape anymore, nor did he want to resist the feeling of Lin Wanting in his heart. It also showed that Li Mo was willing to forget the past and start over with Lin Wanting. He had never been a casual person, and this decision was absolutely serious. However, now it was 001 and Error's turn to be brain dead. They couldn't accept it. How could this be? 001 and Error almost wanted to beat themselves to death. Were they going to fail their mission? They couldn't imagine it. While 001 didn't answer for a long time, Li Mo was not in a hurry. He just kissed her slowly and asked her in a sexy and seductive voice, Li Mo's last syllable was so seductive that it made one's ears feel like they were about to get pregnant. Li Mo held 001 in his arms and stroked her gently, patiently waiting for her answer. I think it doesn't matter. Anyway, you want to experience the 7 emotions and 6 desires of the earth. Isn't falling in love with someone also a part of it? What's more, this is before Sun Jiaoyang comes back, so we won't ruin the plot. Anyway, after Sun Jiaoyang comes back, Li Mo will definitely break up with you. 001 felt that what Error said was very reasonable, so she nodded calmly to Li Mo and said, okay. 001's answer made Li Mo's heart beat very fast for a moment, and then he was overwhelmed by a burst of ecstasy. Although Li Mo had expected that Lin Wanting would not refuse him at all, after all, her love for him was so obvious. But hearing her promise in person, Li Mo's face unconsciously showed a bright smile. Li Mo couldn't wait to hold 001 tightly in his arms. He couldn't help burying his cheek in her neck and rubbing it, saying in a muffled voice, "That's great." However, after the ferocious joy subsided, Li Mo also felt that something was amiss. The faint sense of emptiness couldn't be ignored, but Li Mo temporarily suppressed it. Li Mo's strong emotions couldn't affect 001. She just felt very confused. After all, she didn't understand why things had developed to this point. She always thought that she had done a good job. Don't think about it. It's not your fault. It must be that the male creatures on the earth have different ideas. 001 also accepted Error's statement. Otherwise, it couldn't be explained at all. After Li Mo and 001 confirmed their relationship, he didn't hide anything anymore. After all, Li Mo had resisted and suppressed himself before. Now that he had admitted it, he naturally didn't care about it anymore. Li Mo and 001 sat together, snuggling intimately. His hand held 001's small hand. Under the cover of their sight, Li Mo couldn't help but gently play with the small hand in his palm. His lips couldn't help but curl up. He had a relaxed and happy smile on his face, which he had never had before. 001 tried to ignore the discomfort in her hand. Error had checked for her. This was the most basic intimacy between men and women on the earth. She shouldn't refuse. 001 turned her head to the outside of the car. At this time, they were competing to sit on the bus on the way back. 001 looked at the scenery outside without any focus, while Li Mo held 001's hand intimately and looked at her with a smile. Xianghua sat behind Li Mo and 001. She secretly stared at 001 from time to time. She didn't know why she was like this. She completely ignored Li Mo. Xianghua thought that it was because 001 was her enemy. Last time, she went for wool and came home shorn, which made her lose face. Therefore, she had to observe her carefully so that she could get back at her next time. Li Mo felt that his biggest gain from this trip to the hot spring was that he had a girlfriend. Li Mo had been holding 001's hand all the time. He didn't expect this kind of intimate emotion to appear in him. Until 001 was sent to the girls' dormitory, Li Mo was still a little reluctant. He kept holding 001's hand and didn't let go. "Remember to call me if you need anything. If you don't need anything, remember to miss me." Li Mo's hand gently stroked 001's cheek and whispered to her one by one. It was really not Li Mo's character to be so sentimental, but he didn't feel anything. On the contrary, he felt very comfortable. Li Mo wanted to roll up the underwear in his hand like a hot potato and throw it away. However, he thought that it was a gift from Lin Wanting after all, so he hesitated and kept it. However, as soon as he saw it, Li Mo was annoyed, and his cheeks inevitably blushed. However, it was so ostentatious that Li Mo couldn't ignore it. Just like Lin Wanting, it was very quiet, but it had a strong sense of existence in Li Mo. 001, on the other hand, was very happy after giving this gift to Li Mo. She thought that she was very considerate, and Li Mo would be very happy. Li Mo and Lin Wanting had different majors, but sometimes they had the same courses. What's more, in order to see Li Mo, Lin Wanting naturally chose the same elective course as him, and 001 would not change. In fact, Li Mo wanted to avoid Lin Wanting. He didn't want to see her for the time being. As soon as he saw Lin wanting, he would think of the underwear that he would never take out to wear in his life, which made his cheeks blush, but he couldn't help being angry with Lin wanting. Lin wanting, as usual, didn't feel anything and greeted Li Mo warmly. However, Li Mo faintly greeted Lin wanting, looking very indifferent. Xianghua, who was in the dormitory behind Lin wanting, saw this, and her eyes lit up. 001 didn't think there was anything wrong with Li Mo's attitude, but Sun Sun felt wronged for her. Ah, wanting, why is he like this? Wasn't it true? The girl greeted him with such an attitude. Wasn't it embarrassing? If they were not familiar with each other, it would be fine. However, on that day, Li Mo sent her to the dormitory and helped her clean up. It was obvious that they had a close relationship. Therefore, Li Mo's attitude was unreasonable. He has always been like this. 001 replied as if it was a matter of course. This made Sun Sun look at her with eyes full of sympathy. She made up a tens of thousands of words in her mind. 001's sad love story. 001 didn't notice, but Xianghua, who was behind them, had already raised the corner of his mouth sarcastically. Li Mo didn't want to see it, but 001 wouldn't let him succeed. Li Mo thought that he and Lin wanting wouldn't have many interactions in college, unlike in high school, but it turned out that he was too naive. Lin wanting was still the same as when she was in high school. She was everywhere. Of course, it didn't mean that she was chasing after him and trying to block him like Sun Jiaoyang. He didn't know when it started, but his roommates in the dormitory started to look at Li Mo in a strange way. Just like in high school, it was a well-known secret that Lin wanting liked Li Mo, but it was still the same in college. Lin wanting never said that she liked him, let alone publicized it. When others asked her, she always got a negative answer. However, everyone thought that Lin wanting didn't mean it, or she was too shy to admit it. Because Lin wanting's love for Li Mo was so obvious that people with discerning eyes could see it. It was useless for her to deny it. The new campus belle of the secretarial department liked the school hunk of the business administration, which was a tacit idea. Li Mo, he thought of the feeling of being dominated by Lin wanting's eyes in high school. Couldn't he escape in college? Chapter 36. Sweet little angels. Lila. After all, this was the young man she liked so much. He was the first love that she liked with all her might and tried her best to pursue. In this relationship, Sun Jiaoyang had indeed put in more effort than Li Mo. Moreover, she also believed that the one who fell in love first must be the loser. Even if she was bright and moving, she smiled brightly at Li Mo. She was generous and confident in front of others, but in this relationship, she had an inferiority complex. And Li Mo was also in love for the first time. He was also a newbie. There were also many things that were not handled well in relationships. In the end, Li Mo was still too young, but he could not deny his sincerity in dating Sun Jiaoyang at that time. When Sun Jiaoyang was pursuing Li Mo, she thought that as long as he could fall in love with her, she would not care about anything else. However, a little girl, and a young lady who had been pampered since she was young, even if she might always be so rational and not ask for anything in return? After Sun Jiaoyang got it, she became more and more greedy and dissatisfied. She began to care about her gains and losses in this relationship, and at the same time, her heart became more and more uncomfortable. Sun Jiaoyang was a dignified young lady. In order to not only put down her airs, she had done a lot of things that she would never have done. She went through a lot of hardships. This moved him. Before Li Mo accepted her, Sun Jiaoyang was willing to endure it and thought it was sweet. But after becoming Li Mo's girlfriend, Sun Jiaoyang felt that she was not worth it. Which boyfriend didn't treat his girlfriend like the palm of his hand? Why was Li Mo not warm enough to her? Not to mention that there were many girls who couldn't compare to her. Why didn't she receive this treatment? Sun Jiaoyang wanted Li Mo to regret. She wanted Li Mo to know that she could not live without him. There was also a childhood sweetheart who had ulterior motives sowing discord. In a fit of anger, Sun Jiaoyang impulsively told Li Mo to break up and go abroad. In fact, after going abroad, Sun Jiaoyang's mind calmed down, and she regretted it. However, for the sake of her pride, she could not bring herself to return to China to find Li Mo. Sun Jiaoyang thought that as long as Li Mo chased after her, she would go back with him. However, she waited and waited, but Li Mo still did not come. This made Sun Jiaoyang feel disheartened. In her heart, she had truly broken up with Li Mo, but she still tried to get in touch with other boys. After Li Mo, Sun Jiaoyang also dated a few other men. They were all good-looking and capable. However, Sun Jiaoyang found that she could not forget Li Mo. Until she received a phone call from Jianghu, which gave Sun Jiaoyang an excuse to return to China. Because of this phone call, Sun Jiaoyang returned to China 5 years earlier than in the plot. After Jianghu hung up the phone, she looked at the dark night outside the window and let out a deep sigh. She did not know whether what she did was right or wrong. However, she knew very well that she did not want to see Li Mo and Lin wanting be together. In particular, Li Mo and she were getting closer and closer, and the two of them were even engaged. Jianghu saw the rings on Li Mo and Lin Wanting's hands, so she couldn't help but investigate them. After knowing the existence of Sun Jiaoyang, she immediately took action. Speaking of which, Jianghu knew Sun Jiaoyang. After all, they were both rich ladies in the same circle. However, they were often compared. In fact, they were not very good at dealing with each other. But now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. There was still a long time before the holiday. After Li Mo and 001 got engaged, they were forbidden to contact each other for a period of time. Seeing Li Mo's fierce posture at the engagement party, Father Lin and Mother Lin were worried that he would do something out of line after the engagement. Lin Wanting was still young. Moreover, they were still studying. It would be bad if anything happened at this time. After all, 001 had become his fiancé. Li Mo didn't want to offend his father-in-law too much. Even if they couldn't see each other, Li Mo and 001 could still call each other and video call each other. At the beginning, Li Mo was really happy. He just wanted to look at 001 to relieve his longing and see if she was okay. Li Mo would video call 001 every night and whisper his love words to her, which made him very happy. However, in the end, it was a little different. Because one day, when 001 just came out of the shower to video call Li Mo, the water drops on her body were not dry, and her nightdress hung loosely on her body. Not only was she exposed, but she was also wet and seductive. This made Li Mo, who was peeping on the other side of the video, very excited. Li Mo couldn't help but think back to that time in the school dormitory. He almost had a nosebleed again. This made Li Mo's breathing become rapid, and his body couldn't help but have a reaction. Looking at 001 in the video, Li Mo quietly put his hands under his body, and his face became redder and redder. Li Mo's eyes became misty, and he almost couldn't help moaning. "Baby, take off your clothes, okay?" Li Mo coaxed 001. Even the young man, who was like an ink and wash painting, was no different from other men at this time. 001 looked at Li Mo carefully in the video. According to the data she had scanned, she naturally knew what Li Mo was doing. But since she was his fiancée, 001 felt that she had the obligation to help him in this regard. Therefore, she took off her clothes in front of Li Mo in the video and followed his instructions. Although he couldn't actually touch 001, it was also interesting, which made Li Mo very excited both mentally and physically. Until Li Mo stopped panting, he couldn't wait to hug 001 and kiss her hard, but she was on the other side of the video. Li Mo reached out and touched the screen of his mobile phone reluctantly, as if he was touching 001. He still had some lust left in him. His lustful eyes stared deeply at 001. Even his words seemed to carry a burning desire. "Baby, I love you." Li Mo bowed his head and kissed the figure of 001 on the mobile phone, but his words were so sincere. Even if 001 didn't understand feelings, she couldn't help but feel a little shocked at this time. However, at this time, Li Mo's ears were red, and his eyes were a little evasive. "Wan Wan, put on your clothes. Don't catch a cold." It was very difficult for Li Mo to say this sentence. This time, his shyness was obvious. Li Mo didn't expect that he would be so bold. It seemed that men were really lustful. Ever since that time, things like this had been happening more and more frequently, allowing Li Mo to satisfy his desire for 001. Until Father Lin and Mother Lin stopped stopping him, Li Mo immediately took 001 to the beach to play. At this time, Sun Jiaoyang also returned to China, and she went directly to Li Mo's residence. All the things to play on the beach were prepared by Li Mo, including 001's swimsuit. When 001 came out, Li Mo looked very calm. He took her hand and walked forward. Although he had seen what he should and shouldn't have seen, it didn't mean that 001's appearance was not attractive to him. In fact, Li Mo was just pretending to be calm on the surface. He held 001's wrist with blue veins. He had to endure it. The glass shards fell from her body, without leaving a trace. It was like hitting a stone with an egg. Of course, the egg was the wine bottle, and the stone was 001. 001 blinked her eyes. She was very confused. Why would this kind of thing cause danger to the lives of Earthlings? 001 calmly reached out to get the broken glass off her head and body, but she was unscathed. The drunkard woke up in shock. How is this possible? His lips trembled, and he looked at 001 as if he was looking at a monster. 001 also noticed the abnormality at this time. It turned out that the physical fitness of Earthlings was so far away from that of planet Araga. She should have thought of it long ago. At this time, in the heart of 001, the idea that Earthlings were weak and needed to be taken good care of, or they would die easily, had been deeply rooted. Error, what if others find out? Even if 001 was not smart, it was the most basic thing to do not expose her identity during the mission. Don't worry. I have deleted all their memories. They won't find anything unusual. 001 was relieved and walked towards Li Mo. The Araga people did not have a specific face. They only had a huge shape. Therefore, since the mission this time was to replace Lin Wanting, 001 scanned her behavior pattern and appearance. It was not difficult to complete an external copy. Li Mo was drunk and unconscious, which was different from what Lin Wanting remembered. But 001 and Error thought it was not a big deal. After all, they saved Li Mo's life. Their next task was to send Li Mo home. Since Li Mo could no longer leave, 001 directly picked Li Mo up and walked out of the bar. With Lin Wanting's memory, 001 and Error both knew where Li Mo's home was. They walked directly to his door. They were not familiar with the business of driving a car. For a soldier on planet Araga, walking more than 10 kilometers was nothing. In front of Li Mo's door, 001 rang the doorbell. This was what she learned from Lin Wanting's memory. Human civilization was indeed advanced. 001 put Li Mo down and waited for the person inside to come out and open the door. The person who came out was Li Mo's mother. Li Mo and Lin Wanting's family background was similar. His father was a university professor. His mother was also a teacher. Li Mo had been influenced by his parents since he was a child. She was introverted and excellent, completely different from Sun Jiaoyang's growth environment. Perhaps he was attracted to her. Li Mo had been their pride since he was a child. They had never worried about him. Although they were worried about Li Mo's relationship in high school, Li Mo had always been obedient. They were also afraid that it was the child's belated rebellious period, so they did not dare to say anything. Fortunately, Li Mo was a good child. Even when he was in love, his grades never dropped, which made them feel relieved. How could they not know their own son? He would never mess around. Since he was in love with a girl in high school, he must be serious. They all wanted to wait for the end of the college entrance examination to meet their parents. However, they did not expect that after the college entrance examination, they would break up, and the girl would go abroad without saying a word. Seeing their son go out to get drunk almost every night for a month, causing them to worry about him, it wasn't like they didn't have any complaints towards Sun Jiaoyang. At this time, when Li Mo's mother saw her son being sent back by a girl, her mood was a little complicated. Lin Wanting's appearance was very advantageous, and her scholarly aura was also very good. Otherwise, when Sun Jiaoyang knew that Lin Wanting liked Li Mo, he would not have felt a sense of crisis and rejected her so much. Lin Wanting's temperament was unique, and she had a very elegant classical beauty. For Li Mo's mother, who was engaged in the education industry, she undoubtedly had a good first impression of such a girl. You are? Li Mo's mother looked at 001 in surprise and asked. After all, it was hard not to think too much in the middle of the night, but 001 was a person who never thought too much. Hello, Auntie, I am Li Mo's classmate. I saw him drunk in the bar, so I sent him back. There was nothing wrong with 001's words, but Li Mo's mother was also a teenager, and her work often let her come into contact with girls. Li Mo's mother was silent and took her son. She could see that the girl in front of her should have some feelings for her son. Not good, the lady in front of you thinks that Lin Wanting likes Li Mo. 001 was shocked. She did not forget that Ms. Lin was secretly in love with Qin Haodong, and she could not let anyone know. Otherwise, wouldn't it mean that she had destroyed the original track, and her mission would fail? Therefore, 001 immediately denied righteously, no, you misunderstood. I don't like Li Mo. Seeing that Li Mo's mother still did not speak, 001 emphasized again, I really don't like him. Hearing this, Li Mo's mother's expression became more complicated. She looked at 001 and nodded gently, okay, child, I understand. Thinking that the matter had been solved, 001 asked Li Mo's mother, please don't tell him that I sent him back. 001 thought that Li Mo did not know that Lin Wanting followed him, so she naturally could not let him know. 001 felt that maybe she had misunderstood Ms. Lin before. She was not a stalker, she just wanted to protect her sweetheart. There was a special term on the earth to describe this kind of behavior, flower protector. However, that was done by a male to a female. What about a female to a male? Then it should be the flower protector. Both 001 and Error felt that there was no problem with this logic. Not only that, but the two of them were also proud at this moment. You watched Li Mo in the bar, and then sent him home. Very good. What Lin Wanting did tonight, you have done very well. You are really worthy of being called E. In the face of Error's praise, 001 tried not to let the corners of her mouth rise. You flatter me, Error. I still have a lot to do. I can't be proud. I have to keep it up and work harder. Li Mo's mother supported her son and looked at the back of 001. She could not help but sigh, what a silly girl. She had done so much for her son behind his back without asking for anything in return. Seeing that she was so familiar with it, it should not be the first time. In fact, Mama Li misunderstood. In the past, Li Mo came back by himself, and Lin Wanting just followed him. Mama Li looked at her drunk son and felt even more helpless. Son, there is still a silly girl who secretly likes you so much. Why don't you cheer up? Li Mo was a very good man who combined self-discipline and loss of control. Although he went to the bar every night to get drunk, he never missed his homework in the day's cram school. Although both Li Mo and Lin Wanting had been admitted to the best universities, they still had to make up for their future studies during the summer. Originally, Li Mo planned to go on a graduation trip with Sun Jiaoyang, but now he could only focus on his studies. And Lin Wanting naturally inquired about where Li Mo was studying, and they were in the same class. Lin Wanting always tried to find ways to let herself and Li Mo see each other in the same place, but other than that, she would not take the initiative to do anything else. Just like in high school, Lin Wanting sat behind Li Mo. Error, what should a person who has a crush do? 001 had no feelings, so she naturally did not know how a girl who had a crush should face the boy she had a crush on. Even if she copied everything Lin Wanting did, it was just a form of external expression. Don't worry, I have already searched the information on the earth. Got it, Secret Love Handbook, just follow this and you will be fine. Not bad, I didn't expect you to be so perceptive. Keep up the good work. After receiving Error's encouragement, this made 001 more confident in herself. The cram school emphasized a balance between work and rest, not to mention that this was indeed a special class. The students in this class should not only have good academic performance, but also be well-rounded. Therefore, the teacher organized an outing for the cram school, and the students had to bring their own materials, cook, build a sleeping tent, and so on. Although 001 did not understand any common sense on the earth, the people on planet Araga originally had the most powerful receiver and data processing center. For those academic problems, 001 scanned and analyzed, and the answer came out. Therefore, 001's results were better than Lin Wanting's previous results, faintly approaching Li Mo's, which made Li Mo could not help but look at her. Chapter 37. The cute little angels were all chattering. Only Li Mo and 001 were surprised. The students around them were all chattering away, except for Li Mo and 001, who were the only ones who were surprised. None of them were warm or enthusiastic people. But they were also politely answering the questions of the students around them. From the beginning to the end. Li Mo did not meet 001's gaze, and 001 did not look at Li Mo even once. Li Mo looked very normal on the surface, but he clearly knew that he could not pretend that nothing had happened. It was precisely because the impact was too great that he tried to cover it up. However, Li Mo clearly knew that he was avoiding a certain feeling, but 001's performance made him unable to ignore it. Li Mo consciously avoided 001, but he couldn't help but pay attention to her. Why didn't she look at him now? Was she angry? Or was it that he thought of the guess that made his heart sink? Li Mo didn't even dare to think about it. Or did she not like him anymore? Wasn't this what he wanted her to be like from the beginning? But why did he find it so hard to accept now? Li Mo, who was originally relieved that 001 did not frequently pay attention to him and disturb his heart lake at this time, his mood was completely depressed. In fact, it was 001 who felt that she had performed her recent mission very well. She had done everything that was mentioned in the secret love manual, she didn't have to stare at him so urgently anymore. Moreover, she heard that it was very comfortable to soak in a hot spring on Earth. This made 001 very curious and eager to try. After arriving at the hotel, she made an appointment with other female classmates. It was better to listen to the experienced Earth females on this kind of thing. Therefore, 001 did not have much time to stare at Li Mo at this time. On the other hand, Li Mo frequently looked at 001. She seemed to be very interested in something. She had been listening attentively with her head tilted. Moreover, the way Lin wanting to smile. Li Mo had wanted to say a long time ago that it was too much like a tender and elegant little flower blooming alone. However, the difference now was that this little flower quietly bloomed in his heart. Li Mo pursed his lips and looked at Lin wanting smile. His heart itched and he wanted to do something. His hands unconsciously clenched. However, even after 001 and her classmates entered the hot spring, Li Mo did not find a chance to talk to her. 001 and her classmates were separated, but they were very close to each other and could talk through a curtain. It was said that this was the special design of this hotel, but in fact, it was specially prepared by Jianghu. If she didn't separate them, how could she deal with her? Jianghu had asked 001 to make a fool of herself. If she ran out of the hot spring in such a disheveled state, how could she deal with her? Jianghu just wanted 001 to make a fool of himself. If he ran out of the hot spring in such a disheveled state, all the other students, including boys and girls, would see it. However, Jianghu did not expect that after 001 saw a snake soaking in the hot spring, she did not panic at all, let alone run out and shout. However, Xianghua didn't expect that after 001 saw a snake soaking in the hot spring, she didn't panic or get scared at all, let alone run out and yell. It was still alive. The snake hissed and stuck out its tongue, as if it was showing off its strength to 001. However, in fact, animals had a sharper instinct than humans. It sensed that 001 was a very dangerous existence to it. It was just afraid and wanted to escape. However, in fact, animals had a more sensitive instinct than humans. It sensed that 001 was a very dangerous existence to it. It was just afraid and wanted to escape. But 001 held the snake's body tightly and looked at its green eyes. Yes, it's a reptile. It's non-venomous. 001 nodded its little head with interest. Other than humans, this was the first time she had been so close to another creature on Earth. 001 nodded its little head with interest. Apart from humans, this was the first time she had been so close to another creature on the Earth. 001 was having a good time playing with the snake, but Xianghua, who was waiting outside, was anxious. Why hasn't there been any reaction after so long? What exactly is going on inside? Xianghua gritted her teeth. She couldn't wait any longer, so she decided to go in and see for herself. However, 001 was not scared, but she was scared enough to scream. 001 is also scared by her voice. Her hand trembles, and the snake flies out of her hand. Coincidentally, the snake landed on Xianghua's body. This scared Xianghua out of her wits. Her voice almost pierced through the sky. At this time, 001 suddenly rushed out of the water, bringing with it a splashing sound. She grabbed a towel from the side, wrapped it around herself, and ran towards Xianghua. 001 knew that the fragile little females on the earth were afraid of these things, and it was said that males were generally stronger than females. But when 001 thought of the weak Liemo, she suddenly felt that the females on the earth were really weak, and they needed more care. Therefore, 001 put one hand around Xianghua's waist and held her in his arms, and quickly took the snake from her with the other hand. Well, it's all right. Don't be afraid. 001 comforted Xianghua in a soft voice unique to Lin Wanting. It was very comfortable to listen to. Even Xianghua couldn't help sobbing and gradually calmed down under her comfort. 001 reached out and gently wiped away Xianghua's tears. Well, don't cry. Your delicate makeup is about to be put on. 001's words made Xianghua pause. Only then did she realize that she had been hugging her enemy. This made her face turn red. She pushed 001 away vigorously and got out of her arms. Who told you to say that? Xianghua flew into a rage out of humiliation. But she didn't know why her eyes flickered, and she didn't dare to look at 001. In the end, Xianghua secretly glared at 001 and ran away. This made 001 confused. It seemed that the minds of girls on the earth were also difficult to understand. Xianghua made such a big noise before, which alarmed a lot of people. When Liemo heard that it was Lin Wanting's hot spring that had an accident, he ran out in a hurry. Ah, there's a thief. They didn't expect that someone would take advantage of the chaos to steal things. The girls screamed. Hearing this, 001 quickly ran out, but she didn't expect to run into Liemo head-on. 001 was so focused on catching the thief that he didn't notice anything, but Liemo was so angry that he was about to spit fire. 001 wanted to run past Li Missouri. She didn't want to stay at all. However, when she passed by Liemo, Liemo suddenly reached out and grabbed her tightly. Not only that, but this was different from usual. Liemo directly hid 001 in his arms. This surprised 001, so she paused for a moment, and was firmly held in his arms by Liemo. However, what greeted 001 was Liemo's exasperated reprimand, which surrounded her like a blanket. Lin Wanting, what are you thinking? Why did you run out dressed like this? Lin Wanting silently guarded Liemo. After graduation, she specially went to work in his company. Almost everyone could see that Lin Wanting liked Li Mo, but she had never confessed to Li Mo. If she didn't say it herself, others wouldn't deliberately embarrass her. Such a gentle and introverted girl, everyone had a good impression of her. Perhaps Li Mo later understood Lin Wanting's feelings, but he didn't say it. He just silently alienated Lin Wanting. Lin Wanting was a smart girl. She should be able to understand Li Mo's meaning. Lin Wanting didn't say this kind of thing clearly. If she really made it clear, both sides would be embarrassed. After Sun Jiaoyang left, Lin Wanting stayed with Li Mo for 6 years, always as a close friend. Later, when Sun Jiaoyang returned to China, Li Mo and she rekindled their old love. This made Lin Wanting very painful, but seeing Li Mo happy, she also blessed them, and then left alone, regretting it for the rest of her life. "You said so much, what's the problem?" 001 asked in confusion. "Error. I knew you didn't understand. The person who has a problem in this world is Lin Wanting. I quit." "Why?" "Error, although it's a good habit to ask questions when you don't understand, you really have too many questions." Error gritted his teeth and said to 001. Then, he explained to 001. "No, it should be said to be the solitary roar of a woman on earth. Stupid C**NT, stupid C**NT, I'm AF** king stupid C**NT. Hearing this, 001 and Error were stunned. It should be known that Ms. Lin Wanting came from a scholarly family. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was a lady from a respectable family. Looking at 001's quiet appearance, Error swallowed and said, "Perhaps this is what it means to not perish in silence, but to break out in silence." After hearing Error say this, 001 immediately looked at it with admiration. "Error, you're amazing. You've just come to Earth, but you already know so much." Error raised his tail and said, "It's nothing, I just happen to be a little smarter than you." 001 nodded. She had no objection to this. Then the beautiful woman in the video continued to stomp her feet. Her ferocious face destroyed her quiet scholarly aura. "Li Mo didn't flirt with me, nor did he give me the wrong hint. On the contrary, he really didn't give me a chance at all. Of course, he is not a scumbag. I don't have a problem with him, even my rival in love, Sun Jiaoyang. I just hate myself for not being able to meet my expectations. Would it kill you to F***king tell him your feelings for him? Obviously, you met Li Mo first and fell in love with him first. But you didn't dare to say it, so others dared to say it. You just watched them show off their love all day long. Well, they finally broke up. I didn't expect that I was such a coward. I just quietly stayed with the person I liked for 6 years, and then watched them reunite and fall in love again. I really didn't use any strength to pry him away. Even if you are a guardian, you should at least do something for Li Mo. In the end, I really did nothing but like him." Chapter 38. Sweet little angels li 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 la, to put it simply. It's that he's in heat. Wants to have sex with you, right? 001 affirmed Error's statement. "That's right, but you know, the reproduction method on planet Araga is different from that on Earth. So, let Li Mo do it. It's a good opportunity to experience it." 001 felt that what Error said made sense, so she let Li Mo do it and did not resist. This made Li Mo even more excited. He could not help but tighten his grip on 001. However, he had to restrain himself with great difficulty because he could not bear to hurt Lin Wanting. Li Mo took a deep breath. He could no longer hold it in. He leaned over and lowered his head to kiss 001. His lips were burning hot. 001's pink lips could not help but tremble slightly. However, this stimulated Li Mo even more, making him kiss her even tighter, not letting her escape. The ambiguous and loud sound of water rang out in the room. It made Li Mo's heart grow hotter and hotter. That urge surged wildly in his body. Li Mo hooked 001's little tongue, not letting go of any part of her little mouth. Li Mo was clearly very inexperienced before, but now, he was already very proficient in teasing 001. Li Mo swallowed the sweet saliva that belonged to 001, he then passed his own into her little mouth. In the past, he could not understand the intimate exchange of liquids at all, but now, it made his heart palpitate like this. There were even some liquid 001 that she did not have time to swallow, and it flowed out from the corner of her lips. This made Li Mo's kiss gentler, he lovingly licked the water stains at the corner of her lips clean. When he was aroused, he carried 001's body and moved unconsciously, he carried her and fell onto her big bed. Li Mo could not help but let out a muffled groan because of the sudden intimate contact with her soft body. He couldn't bear to let go of 001, so he hugged her tightly and kept kissing her. His hands couldn't help but move. Even though Li Mo's body ached from thinking about it, he knew he couldn't do it. However, this did not mean that he could not do anything. He could still let her experience the beauty of lust. 001 is defeated by Li Mo's fingers, lips, and tongue. Her eyes are misty and her face is flushed. She indulges herself in the pleasure of her body. The beautiful scenery presented by 001 in front of him, which was caused by himself, also made Li Mo more and more addicted, trying his best to please her. 001 collapsed on the big bed. Lust was really terrible. It drained all the strength in her body, but her limbs were trembling with joy. Li Mo fell on 001's body and hugged her tightly. His face was deeply buried in 001's neck. Li Mo couldn't help but rub against 001's body. His voice was almost pleading and acting coquettishly, "Wan, help me." In fact, even though it was not obvious, Li Mo was indeed embarrassed. However, he buried his face in 001's shoulder, so no one could see his flushed face. The room was filled with the sweet smell of 001's body, which was emitted from her body. Just now, Li Mo's trembling fingers had touched the most delicate part of 001's body, the part that he yearned for even in his dreams. He had tasted the sweet taste, and his fingers were covered with evidence that she had moved for him. 001's clothes were disheveled, and her blouse had long been completely open. Her underwear was thrown on top of her head, and her skirt was also piled up. However, her soaked underwear was hanging on her feet. 001 was completely obedient to Li Mo at this time, allowing him to lead her hand and begin to move. Soon, the room was also filled with Li Mo's smell, which filled Li Mo's heart with great satisfaction and joy. Li Mo rubbed 001's face affectionately, and his heart was as soft as warm water. "Wan, my Wan." Li Mo held 001 in his arms and was reluctant to leave her. However, he also understood the priorities of the matter. He couldn't stay in Lin Wanting's room for a long time. Therefore, Li Mo had to get up reluctantly. Seeing Lin Wanting being tortured by him made his body excited again. Li Mo's cheeks and ears were red, and his eyes were a little evasive. He didn't dare to look at 001. Li Mo's breathing was rapid. He began to help 001 put on her clothes with trembling hands. However, 001's underwear was completely useless. He needed to change it. Seeing the wet appearance, Li Mo put it under his nose and sniffed it gently. An idea even flashed through Li Mo's mind. He wanted to lick it. However, Li Mo quickly reacted. He really looked like a pervert just now, but he really had that kind of strong desire. Thinking of the situation that caused this situation, Li Mo almost had a nosebleed. He quickly covered his nose. Li Mo tried to calm himself down. He turned to 001's wardrobe and took out a new pair of underwear for her. As soon as he saw her private things, the fragrance that belonged to her came to his face, which made Li Mo's cheeks turn red again, and his heart beat wildly. After Li Mo took care of 001 in front of the mirror, he couldn't help hugging her from behind and kissing her hair gently. "Wan, let's get engaged." 001 was dumbfounded, and so was the companion error. Did all human relationships progress so quickly? She felt that she had just agreed to date Li Mo, and now he wanted to get engaged to her? Li Mo's heart was full of tenderness. He thought that since he and Lin Wanting were already like this, of course, he should give her an explanation. And in fact, Li Mo really couldn't wait to have Lin Wanting. Just being her boyfriend was not enough. He wanted to settle things with her as soon as possible. 001's eyelashes blinked rapidly. She felt that she had encountered the biggest crisis since she carried out her mission. What's wrong with agreeing to him? The vows on this earth are not as unbreakable as those on planet Araga. The vows on earth are made to be broken. What? Is that so? 001 was shocked. Once a contract like an engagement was established on planet Araga, it was impossible to go back on it. That was why 001 was so nervous. However, after listening to Error's introduction of the situation on Earth, she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. This was also like the previous breakup. 001 nodded in agreement without any burden. Therefore, 001 nodded gently in Li Mo's arms. This made Li Mo ecstatic, and his face could no longer remain calm. He was a calm and cold person, but he couldn't help but walk around her room several times with 001 in his arms. Of course, Li Mo knew that this matter still required the consent of both parents. He had to leave a good impression on his future father-in-law and mother-in-law. Li Mo put 001 down, but he still held her up with both hands and kissed her heavily. Looking at 001's expression, Li Mo was very excited. His eyes twinkled, but he didn't say it out loud. However, his eyes already contained thousands of words. Before returning to his home, Li Mo told his parents that he was dating Lin Wanting, and that marriage was the prerequisite. The Li family's parents were very open-minded, and Lin Wanting was also very good. They were happy to see this happen. However, it was never so easy to marry someone else's daughter. Therefore, Li Mo's father and Mama Li both encouraged and supported Li Mo. Father Lin and Mother Lin were not unreasonable people. It was indeed time for their daughter to fall in love. They were just worried that she didn't know how to protect herself and would be hurt. When Li Mo came to the door with a gift, they didn't embarrass him. "Uncle, Aunt, I'm Wan's boyfriend, Li Mo." Li Mo formally introduced himself to Father Lin and Mother Lin. His every move was elegant and polite. Naturally, he also wanted to leave a good impression on his future father-in-law and mother-in-law. Yes, in Li Mo's heart, he believed that 001 was so. Father Lin and Mother Lin wouldn't believe a verbal promise. Now they didn't need to talk too much with each other. However, when they saw Li Mo's sincere attitude and sincere gaze, they could only observe him in secret, allowing them to observe him from all sides. Li Mo was even more aware of this. He wanted to prove himself to Lin Wanting's parents with his own practical actions. Lin Wanting's parents allowed Li Mo to go upstairs to see her. At this time, 001 was in her bedroom. Li Mo gently opened the door, walked in quietly, and hugged her from behind. "You little heartless girl, didn't you know to call me?" Li Mo's hands were tightly wrapped around 001's waist, but he couldn't help burying his face deep into her neck. He rubbed it gently and took a deep breath of her fragrance. Li Mo didn't expect that falling in love would make him like this. However, it was indeed him who was worried and tossing and turning, and it was the girl in his arms who caused him to be like this. 001 was not frightened by Li Mo. She knew it as soon as he appeared. She just let him be. Therefore, 001 was very comfortable in Li Mo's arms, which obviously pleased him. He couldn't help holding 001's hands tightly, and couldn't help kissing 001's white and beautiful neck. Li Mo had long noticed 001's delicate and beautiful neck. Every time he hugged her, it would appear under his nose to tempt him. This time, Li Mo finally couldn't help kissing it gently. This made 001 feel a little itchy. She couldn't help but hide, but it made Li Mo want a yard after taking an inch with her. Li Mo rubbed her intimately, and then said with a smile, "Did you miss me?" Liemo found that once he fell in love, he was no different from other boys, and even seemed to be more clingy. Naturally, 001 wouldn't call Liemo for no reason. She couldn't understand the sweetness of love. 001 turned her head from Liemo's arms to look at him. Her usually cold face was completely soft at this time, and her eyes became gentle. Liemo rubbed the tip of 001's nose intimately, and his low and attractive voice sounded in her ear. 001's heart didn't fluctuate at all, which should have made the girl in his arms blush and her heart beat faster. When I think of you, you appear. 001 took Liemo's hand. Her lowered eyebrows and soft voice all brought out a graceful gentleness that was admirable. This made Liemo's heart palpitate, and the feeling of admiration gushed out like running water. He looked at her. She was in his arms and in front of his eyes, which made his heart itch. However, in the end, Liemo just restrained himself and kissed 001's forehead. He chuckled and said, "Well, you pass." It was true that Liemo missed 001, and he was slightly dissatisfied with her. She didn't seem to be in love at all, which was also true. However, those emotions disappeared in 001's soft words. On the contrary, Liemo was flirted with by 001. Liemo let go of 001 reluctantly, took her hand, and looked around her boudoir. This was naturally the first time that Liemo had appeared in a girl's room, and it was his girlfriend, which made Liemo's heart feel a little strange. The decoration here was delicate and soft, just like the person Lin wanting. In particular, it was full of the fragrance of Lin wanting, which made him completely occupied and made his heart become moist and soft. Liemo couldn't help holding 001's hand tightly. He suddenly had a desire in his heart. He wanted his smell to fill this room, and he wanted his things to invade the territory of Lin wanting. In fact, this was just a male's possessiveness. He wanted to mark his own partner. "What did you do at home alone during the holidays?" Liemo turned around and reached out to gently pull the hair on 001's cheek behind her ear. 001 looked up and could see the tender and sweet eyes of the young man, which was very intoxicating. The atmosphere in this room was just right, soft and warm. 001 raised her hand and handed a book to Liemo. "I'm reading this." Liemo took it and raised his eyebrows. "Shakespeare?" This made Liemo's heart ripple, and he couldn't help but smile happily. "Are you going to write a love poem for me?" Liemo looked at 001 playfully. Maybe all boys had this kind of bad taste to bully the girl they liked. 001 just wanted to make herself feel more in love. She also wanted to know a little about this, so she read this book under Error's suggestion. "Do you want it?" 001 asked calmly. If Liemo wanted it, she could satisfy him. After all, a good girlfriend should satisfy her boyfriend's requirements. Liemo couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Her voice fell gently on his heart, but it could bring a tickle. "If I say yes, will you write it for me?" 001 nodded without hesitation, which made Liemo couldn't help but chuckle happily. "When I think of my beloved, my heart is filled with boundless wealth. For the sake of my love for you, I will fight against time with all my might." Liemo stared at 001 with his affectionate eyes, and his gentle voice read 2 sentences from Shakespeare's sonnets to her. 001 looked up at him, which made Liemo's heart tremble, and turbulent feelings hit him like a wave. However, Liemo's face looked very calm, but his eyes were slightly dark and deep. "If thinking of me makes you sad, I'd rather forget, in your sweet thoughts." Liemo approached 001 step by step, and he continued to recite the heart-tugging love poem. Liemo's breathing became more and more rapid, and his eyes were locked on 001. He couldn't suppress his desire anymore, which prompted him to move closer to Lin wanting. Liemo's hand gently stroked 001's arm, along her smooth and delicate skin, until he held her shoulder tightly. The beautiful and graceful girl suddenly rushed out and stood in front of the drunk man on the bar counter. This kind of weakness and the drunkard's strength were about to cause a bloodbath. It was too late for the drunkard to pull back the bottle he raised, and it hit 001 on the head. Glass shards fell from her body, but there was not a trace. It was like an egg hitting a stone. Of course, the egg was the bottle, and the stone was 001. 001 blinked her eyes. She was confused as to why this kind of thing could threaten the lives of Earthlings. 001 calmly reached out to remove the broken glass from her head and body, but she was unscathed. The drunkard was shocked awake. How was this possible? His lips trembled, and he looked at 001 as if he was looking at a monster. 001 also noticed the abnormality at this time. It turned out that the physical fitness of Earthlings was so different from that of planet Araga. She should have thought of this earlier. At this time, the idea that Earthlings were weak and needed to be taken good care of, or else they would die easily, had been deeply rooted in 001's heart. Error, what if someone finds out? Even if 001 was not smart, it was the most basic thing to do not expose her identity during the mission. Don't worry. I have deleted all their memories. They won't find anything unusual. 001 was relieved and walked toward Liamo. The Araga people did not have a specific face, they only had a huge shape. Therefore, since the mission this time was to replace Lin Wanting, 001 scanned her behavior pattern and appearance. It was not difficult to complete an external copy. Liamo was drunk and unconscious, which was different from what Lin Wanting remembered. But 001 and Error thought it was not a big deal. After all, they saved Liamo's life. Their next task was to send Liamo home. Since Liamo could no longer leave, 001 directly picked up Liamo and walked out of the bar. Chapter 39. Error, don't worry, Tutu, don't worry. I will do as you say, but I will never admit that I like Liamo, that's right. You become smarter after coming to Earth. That's right. You become smarter after coming to Earth. This is indeed a good place. Therefore, when he was in class, Liamo felt that the back of his head was about to be on fire. 001 only did what Lin Wanting had done before and kept staring at Liamo. It was obvious that the gaze of a shy and reserved lady staring at her sweetheart was different from the gaze of 001, who wanted to stare at him to death. However, 001 could not feel the difference. Liamo could not ignore 001's gaze. Therefore, he turned to look at 001 and asked calmly, "Student Lin, what's the matter?" "Nothing," 001 said without hesitation. Then, she thought for a moment. She had to emphasize one thing. Therefore, she quickly said, "I don't like you." Liamo. Liamo looked at 001 with a complicated expression on his face. 001 didn't know that there was such a thing in this world as trying to cover something up made it even more obvious. Liamo had never been a person who paid too much attention to girls. Except for his previous girlfriend, Sun Jiaoyang. This was the only one he knew more about. Although Lin Wanting had been sitting behind him, neither of them were warm and talkative people. They didn't talk much. Liamo's impression of Lin Wanting was that she had a good personality and was a study commissary with good grades. She had a good relationship with her classmates. He often heard others talk about her, but Liamo didn't care. However, looking at Lin Wanting, Liamo suddenly remembered what his mother had said to him this morning. Mo. It was a cute and beautiful girl who sent you back last night. But I promised her that I wouldn't say it. You're so smart. You should be able to understand, right? Mama Li looked at Liamo and said meaningfully. Liamo was stunned. Why would he think of Lin Wanting? With her personality, how could she possibly go to a bar? Even just now, Liamo felt that he seemed to have sensed that she had different feelings for him, but he did not suspect her. However, it still left a mark in Liamo's heart. Liamo pursed his lips and turned around. On the other hand, 001 and Error heaved a sigh of relief. They even felt that they were very smart. I have to look at you in a whole new light. You've done really well. It looks like we can complete the mission very well. 001 nodded and said happily, yes, it looks easier than I thought. When the class was over, Li Mo and his friends were talking about entrepreneurship. 001 was still standing not far away and staring at him. Her eyes could not be ignored. Li Mo's friends all patted him on the shoulder jokingly. The meaning was self-evident. 001's situation made them think that Lin wanting like Li Mo frowned. He did not like them to treat their feelings in such a frivolous way. But Li Mo knew that they were not malicious, so he did not say much. It was just that Li Mo's mind was troubled because of a girl other than Sun Jiaoyang, which was rare. Lin wanting did not confess to him. He could ignore her and keep a distance from her. But Li Mo felt that it was too difficult to ignore Lin wanting, because her love for him was too obvious. Later, when Li Mo went to the toilet, Lin wanting was still following him. It was really unbearable for Li Mo. Why did Li Mo know that the person behind him was Lin wanting without turning around? That was because he had become familiar with her gaze. How scary was that? Li Mo was a cold person, although it made his handsome face more charming. He often dressed simply, and his black and white were classic. Li Mo was indeed a veritable flower on a high mountain. He was far more mature and calm than his peers, except when facing Sun Jiaoyang. He would occasionally have a faint smile like spring flowers blooming. This kind of Li Mo was very rational. He would hardly lose his composure for anything, except when Sun Jiaoyang left him. However, at this time, Li Mo's face was very bad. He almost showed anger. What do you want to do? Li Mo almost gnashed his teeth at Lin wanting. Li Mo grabbed Lin wanting and restrained her against the wall of the corridor. Li Mo was very careful not to use too much strength. He would not hurt Lin wanting, and he would not let himself touch her too much. Almost at the moment when Li Mo moved, 001 reacted. She instinctively wanted to throw Li Mo away. However, at this time, 001 thought of the weak body of an earthling. If she really resisted, it was estimated that Li Mo would become a mass of meat sauce. 001 thought that with the attack power of an earthling, it would not cause any harm to her body, so she let it go. Li Mo's angry eyes met 001's clear and clean eyes. There was no emotion in them, not even surprise or shyness. On the surface, 001 still looked as gentle and calm as Lin wanting usually, which was the form that 001 most often simulated. Looking at 001 like this, Li Mo's mood calmed down. He realized that he was impulsive. He would not be like this usually. This was not like him usually. It was really Lin wanting's eyes that made him panic. In the past, he would not care about other people's opinions, but Lin wanting was simply different from others. After hearing Li Mo's question, 001 was slightly stunned. This was not what she had expected. But she quickly reacted and replied, I'm looking at you. Lin wanting's voice was as soft as ever, and even her face was very gentle, but it made Li Mo feel full of powerlessness. However, suddenly, Li Mo's expression froze. He was close to Lin wanting, and he could clearly smell the fragrance on her body, which he had just smelled last night. Although Li Mo was drunk and unconscious at that time, he could feel that he had fallen into a fragrant embrace. It smelled very good, which made him more relaxed and fall asleep. Even now, Li Mo could still remember the faint fragrance that lingered at the tip of his nose. Thus, when his mother said those words, he felt an indescribable strangeness in his heart. At this time, Li Mo looked at 001 in surprise and doubt. Was the person who sent him back last night really her? Li Mo directly asked 001, You sent me home last night, didn't you? 001's eyes widened uncontrollably. How could he know? However, she quickly retorted, It wasn't me. However, Li Mo, who had been paying attention to 001, had already seen her expression just now. He already knew in his heart. Li Mo quickly let go of 001. He turned around and did not look at her. He said lightly, "Don't follow me anymore." After all, Lin Wanting had not confessed to him, so Li Mo could not refuse her. But he thought that with Lin Wanting's temperament, she will not come to him again in the future if he treats her so coldly. Although 001 really wanted to complete the task, since Li Mo said so, she would go back. After all, 001 always remembered that she was secretly in love with him. Since Li Mo had discovered it, there was no need to continue. 001 turned around and left so simply, which made Li Mo a little confused for a while. At this time, he actually felt that Lin Wanting was very obedient and a little cute. Handsome Li Mo quickly forgot about this thought. However, since Li Mo had come over, she could not do this. She could only use the method of the females on Earth. 001 felt that she was really witty. She couldn't help but praise herself in her heart. Li Mo, on the other hand, seemed to have been struck by something. His entire body froze on the spot, unable to move. Look, he saw it. Li Mo felt as if he had been boiled in a pot of boiling water, his entire body boiling with heat. He stared blankly, and his blood rushed to the top of his head. He forgot to move his eyes away. After a long time, Li Mo finally reacted. He immediately rushed over and wanted to reach out and pull down his shirt to cover Lin Wanting. This was Li Mo's instinctive reaction. Perhaps it was because he was too impatient or panicking, but he had pushed the situation to an even worse state, making his own situation even more difficult. Just looking at it made Li Mo's heart beat so fast that it felt like it was about to jump out, and his whole body was about to boil. However, at this moment, he was in close contact with it. Li Mo felt that his brain had crashed, and his heart seemed to have stopped beating. His whole body was about to explode. The abnormal touch finally made 001 raise her head to look at Li Mo, but her movement made it more convenient for Li Mo. His eyes were blurred, and his face was flushed. This was his body's instinctive reaction, and he could not help it. However, there was a drop of sweat on Li Mo's forehead dripping down along his handsome face, giving this handsome young man a touch of strangely seductive sexiness. Li Mo's expression was one of forbearance, which shocked 001. She did not know why he suddenly became like this. 001 did not care about the abnormality of her body. She quickly got up, and Li Mo's hand finally moved away. Li Mo, what's wrong with you? 001 walked in front of Li Mo and asked anxiously. The creatures on Earth were extremely fragile in 001's heart. 001 was worried that if she did not pay attention for a while, Li Mo would die. Even though Li Mo's current state was no better than death, Li Mo didn't care. After today's stimulation, he was like a little virgin who had not even seen an action movie. He was directly hit by a home run. Li Mo's reaction became slow. He looked at 001, but his eyes were not focused at all. I'm fine. Li Mo looked at 001 like a wandering soul, but it did not look like he was fine at all. 001 could not help but frown. Although she felt a little annoyed, there were too many things on Earth that she needed to take good care of. However, she was also a good general who cared about the weak, so 001 still patiently led Li Mo to the sofa to sit down, and went to pour him a glass of water. When 001 left, Li Mo lowered his head in a daze. Looking at his hand that had not changed its posture, Li Mo lowered his head and sniffed it. It seemed a little sweet. How did it taste? This thought suddenly flashed through his mind, and Li Mo's whole body seemed to be struck by lightning. What was he doing just now? What was he thinking just now? He was completely like a pervert. Li Mo could not accept himself like this at all. After hearing 001's footsteps, he quickly hid his hand behind him, as if he had a guilty conscience. Li Mo's face was serious, and he calmly reached out to take the glass of water. However, his hand behind him could not help but gently stroke it. He could not forget the smooth and soft touch, which made him reminisce. And Li Mo's mouth was really dry, so he drank a big mouthful of water. Li Mo, I'm sorry, This dress should have been returned to you, but I forgot to bring pajamas. But I forgot to bring my pajamas with me. I think your pajamas are good, so I put them on. 001's words made Liemo, who had just drunk a big mouthful of water, immediately choke, and he coughed very badly. This made 001 immediately stop talking. She quickly got up and sat down next to Liemo, gently stroking his back to soothe his breath. However, 001's action seemed to stimulate Liemo even more, so that he could not avoid it, and his whole body looked more embarrassed. Liemo coughed so much that he could not speak at all, but he waved his hand again and again, wanting 001 to leave. 001 looked at him doubtfully, but she had always been obedient, so she sat a little farther away from Liemo. After the fragrance belonging to 001 was a little farther away from him, Liemo felt that he was able to breathe. Otherwise, the rolling emotions in his heart would drown him. However, when Liemo finally calmed down a little, he looked up and a fire rushed straight to the top of his head. Because of the pull just now, a few buttons on 001's shirt broke, and some of the clothes fell on one side. The water he splashed also splashed on her body. It could be imagined how tempting 001 was to men now, but she didn't feel it at all. Liemo couldn't stand it at a glance, especially when she was so close to him, as if he could touch her. When 001 sat down, the length of the shirt was tightly covered, but this made it more attractive, and he wanted to explore it further. Liemo suddenly stood up, which was very abrupt and strange, and 001 looked at him in surprise. However, Liemo couldn't care so much. He felt that if he didn't stay away from Lin wanting, it would be too dangerous. Liemo turned his back to 001 and didn't look at her. He quickly explained the matter to her. Liemo couldn't help but feel lucky that he had memorized the precautions. Otherwise, he would have been speechless at this moment, because his brain was not working at all. After Liemo finished speaking, he quickly fled from 001 as if he was burned by fire. Yes, he fled. He felt that if he didn't leave, something bad would happen. However, 001 was puzzled by this. Liemo was strange. It was really difficult to understand the mind of the Earth's male. As soon as Liemo came back, he shut himself in the bathroom to take a bath. He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. However, even if he stood under the shower with cold water, his body and mind were hot, and he couldn't calm down. Liemo turned off the water irritably, wiped his body, put on his clothes and came out. However, although Liemo fell asleep very quickly, there was a torturous little demon in his dream. The impulse of today's day was still there. The pink, tender, tempting, tight and wet feeling had been firmly engraved in Liemo's mind. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.